Hey, what's going on, everybody? And thanks for joining us again. We're live and we have a great episode, jam-packed with a lot of fun to kick off and really send off this terrible year and kick off a new one. Before we shut the book on 2025 and light the match, tonight's episode is about one simple question. What did we just live through? And what exactly did we sign up for without even noticing? Because this year wasn't loud on accident. It was loud by design. Tonight on the Rethink Tank, we're rewinding the tape on a year where the lines between fun, tech, consent, and control got real blurry real fast. From a game that turned nostalgia into surveillance to entertainment that doesn't just want your attention, but your entire identity, to a name you might remember for reasons that you still don't quite realize add up. We're closing out 2025 by asking who's watching, who's profiting, and why it always seems like we're the last ones to read the fine print. Let's end the year the right way. Curious, skeptical, and just uncomfortable enough to be paying attention. First, we explore the evil secret behind Pokemon Go. And unfortunately, this time it's not Team Rocket. It's you being the product. Next, we warn you to not enter the Netflix house. They invite you inside for entertainment, and in return, they will own you, your image, and your likeness. And finally, do you remember Vance Boelter? Because they surely don't want you to. Let's talk about the unraveling state of Minnesota and a key name at the center of it all you haven't heard much of. With that, let's kick off the Rethink Tank. So first up here is a very interesting topic concerning Pokemon Go, because I think a lot of us in the studio, when this thing first popped off, we're stuck inside. A pandemic has shocked the world. We haven't been able to go out. And now there's an excuse. Get out there, touch some grass, and experience the world, and get a little bit of Pokemon nostalgia while you do it. The game took the world by storm and became something fierce. Little did you know you were creating a mapping product that might also be your demise. I'm going to kick it off here to a great report.
Turns out Pokemon Go's probably been evil the entire time. Niantic, the company that runs Pokemon Go, they released a report saying that they've been building a geospatial map using user data for over the last 5 years. They changed the terms of service, the TOS. They changed it 5 years ago. Nobody noticed because it was in the middle, way above that whole agree button, and people agreed to it. And what they've been doing is Pokemon Go has been tracking your footsteps. It's been every time you've opened up a camera to go catch a Snorlax, catch a Gengar, they've actually just been using that photo to train their AI models. Now they can look at any picture anywhere in the world and they can go, we know exactly where that is. And if there was ever a building they didn't quite understand, they would just put...
Now, watching this report, he just slowly starts becoming Trump.
Put a Pokemon gym in there and say, hey, well, go run around there, go Pokemon, go to that building real fast. And then people ran around there and they did it and they collected it. And now they have all these maps and they want to put it in autonomous robots. Some people are estimating eventually it's going to end in the head of a robot dog with a gun on it. And that robot dog was going to hunt people down who don't pay their subscription fee and not being shot by a robot dog. But don't worry, Congress is on it. The U.S. government's on it. We're going to ban trans women from using bathrooms. That'll fix it.
It's incredible the TikTok career that man has built for himself.
Yes.
Really is something.
So let me ask you, what's funny is when preliminary before the show, one of the things you kind of mentioned was like, what did you think they were doing? I really don't think people were here's the problem.
Nobody was thinking.
You have been clicking accept to terms of service buttons your whole life. Mm-hmm. Nobody that accepted these terms of service thought about this. No. And the folks that didn't involve themselves, but that's a severe minority. So you're living in a community where people are en masse operating off of ignorance in a legal system that will show it no grace. That like contract law is black letter, cut and dry, does not care about your feelings. And it's because it benefits the power that be. So they hold that line. There's never going to be grace where, like, I wish for this beautiful utopian future where we hold universities accountable for preying upon juveniles. I've made this claim and posed this argument many a time where all of contract law considers if you contract with a 17-year-old or younger, immediately it's void by law. So there's a policy understanding that under the age of 18, you don't have the cognitive ability to reason and truly understand the scope of what you're committing to.
Right.
So we've created a ultra-billion-dollar academic mechanism that preys upon those children the second they are of age. I mean, we'd call these people pedophiles if it was sexual, but that's money, so who cares? No, this is incredibly problematic that this is the one type of loan you can't file for bankruptcy against. Your whole estate, when you die, your kids will be plagued with this. You've signed it for life. It's the only thing that doesn't go away. When I look at that, I would hope that at some point when this is confronted in a court of law, that argument is made strong enough to where virtue rises from it. We're never going to see that. No. The reality of how this system works is it doesn't matter how much of a strong argument you make. It's always going to lean in favor of the servicor. You were serviced. You accepted it. Money is exchanged. There's too much money invested in them not holding this line. So what's sad is we've created a culture that hopes that one day we'll be protected. One day when it all comes a crashing, well, they'll show us grace. They'll realize, like, we've all been clicking the Apple ID accept terms of service. No, Apple owns you. And if they want to sew your mouth to your best friend and slap an iPad on your forehead, South Park isn't kidding. What's crazy is that was made 20 years ago. Nothing's changed in our culture. That's still the status quo. So they really get to hold the line when they say, you've not only been aware of this, you've had notice and acknowledgement for over a couple decades, understanding that this is never going away. So it's scary that we've created a culture that loves Pokemon Go, loves Facebook, loves their Instagram, their Twitter, and we've allowed them to cognitively suppress what they're signing up for, but we'll never let them escape the legal ramifications of what they're locked into. That's absurd.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that's not going to be fixed. It's something that we all just kind of live with. I'm glad I didn't kind of fall into the Pokemon Go craze. I think I did for a week. And then I ran out of Pokeballs, and I just had no effort or drive to go get more Pokeballs.
I remember being in Salt Fork.
I was thinking that, dude.
It came out. You and I were running through the woods.
We were literally walking around this. It's in a state park. You're pretty reserved off the reservation too.
But they needed photos. That's what's hilarious about this mechanism is it's like, yeah, we can't get this potato chip off the couch. But if we put in a rare Charizard in that corner of the park, we'll get those photos.
And you wouldn't catch it either.
And they've got the whole landscape. They're like, we've got the majority of this valley, but we really don't have the top peak back corner. Put a Mewtwo back there.
Put it back there and make him go get it.
Go get it. Doug, what were you to say?
No, I was going to say, Will mentioned he played it till he ran out of Pokeballs. I remember I played it for a little bit, and when I worked at the Browns stadium was like a Pokeball place at both ends. So when I was working, I could like get constant Pokeballs throughout the day from the thing every day. And so as soon as I ran out of Pokeballs, I stopped playing. And so like the only reason I play is because there happened to be one of those things where you got Pokeballs or whatever every day. And so I would just get those every day. I played until those ran out and then I stopped. But that was like more than 10 years ago.
Oh, it's been a minute. People still play the game pretty religiously.
They've only been tracking for 5 years. I'm good.
You know, I'm thinking in my head too. Did it really actually help with, I'm sure they did it to get people more active.
Oh, yeah.
Was there any like, I don't know, article or like chart afterwards? Like, oh, people who play this are like losing weight. Like, did some good come out of this damn thing?
Trust me, this kid's never walked So now he's so exhausted. He's like, well, now I've obviously earned 4 more ho-hos. I mean, that's just the math. If I eat 15 and never move, but I moved it, I get to have 20.
Dude, imagine he's moving from ho-ho to ho-ho and he's just catching a Pokemon on the way.
I
So
gotta
he's
rest.
literally canceling out his ho-hos.
All right, I'll catch the I don't even know
An
a low.
oddish.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
thank you.
catch an
I'll
oddish
catch
or
it just because
something.
I gotta rest. I gotta sit here. What I keep laughing about in my head is go back 60 years ago, and a great mind American thinker sitting there going, George Orwell.
Okay.
One day-
Which one?
One day, we're going to just be taken over by the state. It's going to be a slow burn. They're going to control our every movement. They're going to watch our every waking thought and experience. How do we get there? And we've been opining about this forever. And every which way, the greatest thinkers come up with some of the most unique, like, emotional blackmail or algorithmic manipulations. It's literally Pokemon.
Oh, it's genius.
Pokemon has mapped the world for the digital landscape that's going to take us over.
It's funny you mentioned Pokemon because I saw earlier today, it was like a chart of like the highest earning IPs of all time, and Pokemon's number 1. It's like $262 billion.
Oh,
That's
by
what it's,
far.
like worth. And it's
Still going.
It is like ridiculously higher than like number 2, because like number 2, 3, and 4, I forget what they are, but they're all owned by Disney. I think number 7 was owned by Disney. Oh, it was Hello Kitty. Hello Kitty was number 2, and it's
Wow.
which I'm pretty sure has been around longer than Pokemon. I'm like, yep, Pokemon's up there.
But also, they have a country that doesn't have channels they can flip through. It's just Hello Kitty, and if you're beating that monopoly, you've got a pretty strong. You got a pretty strong
You
product.
gotta wonder. I bet you they do just have an entire television station dedicated to like Hello Kitty and
I
Pokemon.
think
you know what I mean?
the
Like
creative
24/7, it's just on loop.
China goes, here's what you can have. You can have a dubbed over American video movie because we paid for half of them.
Fast and Furious 12.
Cut to John Cena apologizing in Chinese. Or you can watch Hello Kitty and they're like, well, shit.
Well,
I've seen the Avengers 20 times now.
well, I mean, I can't miss the newest episode.
I am Captain America.
I'm on season 5,000 of Hello Kitty. It can't. It's never gonna end.
Yeah, it's your new One Piece.
It's One Piece. Yeah, yeah. Hello Kitty is just another One Piece. We just didn't
Never
realize
ending.
it.
It's wild to me that, okay, we can laugh and joke about the mechanism at which it made it to us, like this geolocation mapping or geospatial mapping. How to get here? It got here by Pokemon. But we also knew this was inevitably going to happen. And so while it is hilarious, the means at which we liaison it into our future, the craziest part to me is how overnight it all happened.
Oh, completely.
Whoa.
To me, I thought we would have had more like slow burn to where we would have had more time to wake people up, grab conscious awareness. What were you going to say?
No, like, so one thing I was going to say is I remember at the time Pokemon Go coming out, people praised it for getting kids active. We're
Mhm.
now way past that thing because that means they've been tracking kids this whole time.
Tracking kids.
But the other thing though is you're mentioning like the geo tracking, geo whatever. Like, dude, my company's one app has been geo tracking, tagging, and fencing employees of companies that use our app for years. That's part of it, so that companies can track where you are. Well, I don't necessarily know what we do with that third party stuff. I don't know what agreements we have, but
Right.
dude, even my small company has had geo tracking shit. So Pokemon Go, owned by Nintendo with billions at their disposal. Am I surprised they've been tracking us and selling information or using it in some way? No.
They
You
did
know,
it for good
no.
graces.
Well, here's where Doug's point kind of raises something even more unique. Does it surprise us? No. However, my comment was this thing kind of just happened overnight.
Just
it
to go off
really-
that point, it happened overnight. And people were sprinting in the streets. Playing
Well,
this
I'm
game.
not even saying the game's craze.
yeah.
The game's craze but it also started overnight. Like from its release, it was a huge craze. What I'm saying is how this digital world kind of just has built these digital walls around us. They're closing in, and before you even know it, you're going to be squished, and you didn't even realize you're in this trap. I really don't think it's as slow of a burn as on its surface it seems. Doug raised a great point. This is everywhere.
Yes.
I was sitting in law school, go back 8 years ago, and we're being taught about how every app is following you, and you will the biggest money in, say, your Flappy Birds app is the fact that you left it on in the background, you minimized it, but you kept it on in the background, and that app tracked you on your daily routine to the grocery store. You always stop at Starbucks. Then on every Thursday, you'll stop at the UPS to send your grandma a card. And now they know that they could send you UPS ads because every Thursday, this is where he's going. And in fact, there's a FedEx across the street. So Wednesday nights, Thursday mornings, we can start advertising FedEx, try to deter him. Marketing is literal manipulation and control under the guise of business.
Mm-hmm.
And Doug raises a great point. Pokemon Go is the only app, the first app to go, hey, you know all that shit we've been taking from you? Look what we could build. We built a pretty cool thing, and we're going to make even more money. But we know every app in your phone, start listing it. Your banking app, your games,
Twitter,
your DraftKings, all of it. Twitter, they all are doing the same thing. So best believe they're probably mapping something of their own. What benefits Pokemon Go is they got you playing a game where you're also videoing for them.
Yeah. So
So they're getting all of this videographic data that Facebook is just getting what Will's routine is.
Mhm.
That only is so valuable. You can only really sell that to marketers. You can't really develop a program from that yet. But let them start getting creative. So what's funny is we sit here and go, whoa, the little kids game has been building a George Orwellian digital map this whole time. And then Doug goes, wait, everything you've signed up for is doing that exact same thing. They're just the first one to acknowledge it and announce some sort of invention that came from it. And who knows? Like, yeah, as the Trump voice acknowledges, they're probably just building some super autonomous AI system they could put in a dog that'll come shoot you down the road. But they also could put it in your Tesla. And for a little bit, you could get around. And when there's a blockade in the park, it knows exactly which way to take you.
Yeah, it's just another stepping stone. I wouldn't even call it a stepping stone. I just consider it a prime example of what they've been doing in presenting it in a seemingly harmless way. Like it's Pokemon. Like you're just going and catching
How
Pokemon.
cute.
It's right. Yeah, you're having fun, right? I'm having fun. I don't play it, but for a week I was having fun.
I don't play it.
I know. I'm just putting it out there. I don't play the game. Still, I'm one of them. But it is crazy, though. It has been 5 years. And there hasn't been another one like that, though, which is surprising considering I
Right.
know the player blade.
Why hasn't Harry Potter done something like this?
Because Pokemon's simple. The concept is incredibly simple. Think of
Pokemon
like
are
what
everywhere.
Pokemon is. You go and catch them all.
Yeah.
That's literally their tagline. Go catch them all. So it's easy for if it was Harry Potter one, go to this one and get the spell. I already have that one. I'm
Yeah.
not going there.
Right.
Pokemon is like, oh, I want another Oddish or I want another Charizard or whatever, because that's the point of it. And then you can trade them with friends. Harry Potter, Pokemon's perfect. It's limitless. It's a limitless thing, and it's harmless. Like at the root cause of what the game is, it's harmless. It's the behind-the-scenes corporate espionage that no kids.
What way to put it? A
Nope.
kid's game, corporate espionage.
No kid's thinking about it. Like conceivably now I'm older. I could look back and think, wow, I'm taking a photo of literally everything and everywhere I'm at. And I normally don't do that just on my phone regularly, just like with my own camera. I will literally go on vacation, come back. My mom would be like, did you take pictures? Nope. Like, nope, not really. No. If I was playing Pokemon Go, you'd see it with like a Charizard in the background.
Yeah.
So that probably isn't what you're asking for, but that's what the game does. And it's crazy that the player player base, excuse me, is incredibly high. My cousin, who's older than me, still plays it all the time. I'll see her pull out her phone. We'll be at a restaurant. She'll and throw the ball. And I'll be like, "You're in your late 30s. What are you doing? You don't even play Pokemon on like a Nintendo Switch. Like, you weirdo.
You have a baby.
You have a child. You have a child. You know, what are you catching them for? Her? It makes no sense.
Well, so she's going to inherit my account.
She's going to inherit my Pokemons.
That's right. Doug, what were you going to say?
No, I was gonna say, like, everybody loves Google Maps. You know, Google Maps tells me when there's a traffic jam and blah blah blah. Well, you know, they do that based on tracking all these people who allowed them to track them. So
that's incredibly
people
useful.
Drive down the highway and they slow down. They go, oh, we should alert people that there's a slowdown on this road. Like, that's all just from people agreeing to be tracked by Google. And Apple Maps, I assume it's the same principle. If it tells you there's a slowdown, they've tracked enough Apple users that they know there's a slowdown.
And maybe that's why apps like Waze gets to still remain with some virtues, because it's us that are kind of peddling the mechanism. Well, the reason I know there's Google. A cop 5 exits ahead is because all of the humans in the human hive ahead of me have manually entered fact that, yes, it's there, or I'm confirming the fact that he's still there. Yeah. And so you don't feel like you're being robbed of anything private or personal.
Feels like some guy's flashing his blinkers at you.
Yes,
you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Real quick, Google tells you if there's cops or construction, and it asks me, you know, is it still there? Like, if someone reports a cop, and I can report it on my phone or on my car that there's stuff on there, because Waze is owned by Google, so they kind of integrated that into Google.
It's funny you mentioned that, because I've noticed Apple Maps are starting to do that now, and I'm convinced Apple Maps is doing that simply because they want to satirize the market just for them.
Yeah. Oh, right. Totally. You know? They definitely need to compete. And again, that's competition. So what's the beauty? The market demand drives what gets, you know, developed. Here's an interesting concept by Brad Richardson. There was a painter rock game that was made here. You'd hide painted rocks and take pictures of locations. Another kid would go find it and keeps the rocks and keeps it there for another person. Here's what's funny, and this is kind of we were yucking over the Trump, I guess, impersonation that we lost track of some of the things he was saying. What's really scary about a geospatial mapping technology is that what this does, it's the painted rock game.
Right.
I can't be off the grid anymore. What all of the grubs walking all of the steps, taking videos of all of the locations across the landscape means I can't go, na boo boo. You don't know where I am. It's like, oh no, bitch. I know you're at the top of Mountain Mammoth in the middle of Minnesota, and we're coming for your ass. Like, they will literally know.
That Turbo Dog.
Everybody's seen the map, the meme, and honestly, you really should go check out Outdoor Boys. I am on a kick, and it's not like I have some unique personality. It's got a huge following for a reason. It's just this, if you're unaware, it's this attorney in Alaska that just lives like Man versus Wild or Survivor Man, but it's a guy who's just doing it himself. And the meme, you've seen it a million times on TikTok and stuff, where the meme is like, oh, I'm getting attacked in Fortnite. Where's my partner? My partner. I'm at the top of Mountain so-and-so in the middle of nowhere in Alaska. That guy no longer can find that location where Big Brother also can't find him.
Right.
That's the scary element here. So we talk about Google, we talk about Waze, we talk about your Facebook app tracking you. What takes this a level higher than all of these preconceived notions that we know of terms and services is the fact that you're giving them the whole video landscape. They're now creating a map of the world.
Yeah.
This takes Lewis and Clark to a level they couldn't even imagine.
It honestly makes me more impressed with what they did.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
They did Pokemon Go all by themselves.
They literally were
They had to walk the whole thing. Did you write that? Did you? You missed New Mexico.
They literally had a guide who couldn't speak their language going like, which way do we go?
I don't know what she's saying, dude.
She pointed that way. We're going. So simple.
Are we going in a circle? I don't know.
Honestly, the only place on this entire planet that they know we don't have geographically mapped is the secret base in Antarctica.
And they're like, we got that covered.
No one's going up there. And they're like, if they do, we got it.
We got it.
We got them covered. We're going to see it. We're mapping it. We're mapping it.
What's funny is every guy that's tried to do that disappears.
I don't even think they did anything. I think that's just a typical. Well, they all chose that.
Good questions. Questions we all should be asking, Brad Richardson.
Wherever the Charizard is. I bet he's got Pokemon Go on his phone.
Yeah, Brad, do you have Pokemon Go on your phone? Or were you talking about Cash
I
Patel?
was talking about Cash Patel.
Cash Patel's like, I can't catch my girlfriend. What the hell?
I can't catch my own style.
The honey pot. I can't get her.
I can't catch my honey pot. Son of a gun. Pooh loves honey. It is funny when you made the human centipede comparison because I was thinking that the whole time you're doing the
Yeah,
monologue.
same here. No one reads. Why doesn't it read?
And all I could think is our real life human centipede is Pokemon Go. It made it even funnier to me.
Really? South Park should do a part 2 where it is Pokemon Go. We always thought it was Apple. Apple's like, no, we've really just been giving you the same phone for 100 years.
It's the Japanese.
It's
the Japanese, man. Gotta look out for, and it makes it even better too. Because, like I said, when that game came out, it was an overnight craze. Everyone downloaded it. It was really easy to just get into the game. I give them credit for that. I just remember the videos of people like in New York City sprinting through the streets to catch it, and it's like a crowd of people, not like a couple, like literally crowds of people sprinting through, and the whole time, no one thought back. Why are we taking pictures of everything? Literally.
I don't give a shit. It's Squirtle.
Exactly. It's the perfect. This was the perfect psyop.
This
is perfect, and no one's gonna stop. Why would you stop? I don't care.
No, literally 100% of them, blue hair and all. I hate fascists, but there is a Charizard outside.
There is a Gengar right around this corner. And son of a bitch, I don't have that yet. Like, I think, like, again, when you go back to the contract law, you think of like student loans. Obviously, that's the first one come to mind. And that one was a slower burn, right? Because not many people back in the day were going to school. They were going to the trades, construction, and then our parents' generation really started it. And then it kind of got really boosted up by our generation getting caught into the whole loan scam thing. Again, a slow burn. Pokemon Go, a day, a night, literally 12 hours. Oh, we got them. We got them like that. Terms of service, I don't give a shit. I don't care. It is incredible because we've been doing it, like you said, for a decade, just clicking that terms. I don't care. I got to check my emails. I'm clicking the button. The terms of service for like a student loan or anything of that nature, sure, I could look into it, but I want to go to school. I want to get the education. Pokemon Go, it's the most trivial reason, and nobody stopped to think.
No.
Nobody, and no one, people watching it who have it on their phone right now are like, I don't care. I do not care. It means nothing to me now.
Zero.
It's just another thing I signed over. Who cares? So when I see the Trump impersonator talking, which he just makes great content. He's up there with like Jack Mack for us. Like, we just go to this guy. He's just a man of the people.
Man of the people.
It's something awe-inspiring to watch him lay it out in the most. Yeah, that's probably what's happening with the robo dogs, but your Tesla could drive itself, but there is a Gengar around the corner.
Here's the deal. Are our kids
Gengar.
screwed? Yes. But we'll get to surf the wave a little bit.
Oh, yeah, we're the guinea
We-
pigs.
Right. We might actually get screwed at the end of our life with them. But we're surfing the wave for a little bit right now.
And the beauty of it is, we all know how human nature is when we're that age. I don't care.
Yep.
I don't care. I'm checked out.
It's almost like we should respect all of the bitching we have for boomers right now. We're going to be that. They're going to look at us and go, why don't you care? And it's like, guess what? When I did, no one else did either. And the system rammed it deeper.
The system, we couldn't stop it. Good luck. Good luck. We got episodes out there talking about it.
Skip it toilet.
You know, it's a beautiful world we live in. I have had that thought too. The older I've gotten, I look at my parents when my complaints, and I'm like, I get it.
I wouldn't care.
Yeah, I get. Why would I care?
You're sitting in $750,000 house you paid $50,000 for.
I'm 74. I don't care. Bitcoin's $6 billion.
Here's
now.
what's
It worked
funny
for
is
me.
you worked harder in the hamster wheel than any millennial ever will for 50 years. And for all 50 years, they kept telling you, listen, if you keep your nose down, you're going to buy this stupid fucking house for $50,000 and then you'll sell it for $750,000. The fine print was at the cost of all your kids and grandkids. By the time they finally got the bill and they were like, wait, at the cost of fuck them.
They're gonna get this house anyways.
Yeah.
They're getting this equity. Who cares?
Now, will they be able to pay the real estate tax when I die and it gets to them? No.
Sell it.
Exactly.
BlackRock will buy it. That's the beauty of
They'll
it.
buy it for 3 times what we got right now.
It is a cyclical beauty and also just the definition of insanity constantly. And it's all espionage for Pokemon Go.
Hey, Doug, rapping thoughts. Do you have any?
I'm glad I stopped playing Pokemon Go a while ago. Although at the same time, like all this talk about Pokemon Go did make me kind of want to download and play Pokemon Go.
I know.
Like it
was
really
fun.
has, and it's tough for me, but I probably won't know.
Dude, it's like every iPhone game though. Like I have friends who are huge into it. Doug, I know you play Clash of Clans. I sometimes dabble in it, but then I'll go weeks without doing it. I have friends that religiously play it every day. I know if I were to re-download Pokemon Go, that thing would last for at best 4 hours.
Yeah.
At best 4 hours. I go to one other location and then I go to another location and be like, oh, I forgot to do it.
I love that Doug's entire rapping thought is, yeah, well, all I know is I wasn't the problem. And you know what? That's a fair position
I
to
wasn't
take.
the problem. I'm just glad they didn't get my photos or
Yeah, exactly. He's like, I'm not taking it. It's on my phone.
They literally, of me, they have Salt Fork and maybe the rec center.
I really hope that there's, at least 25% of the audience listening has seen 1984 or read the book. But the movie I'm more drawing upon, I just want you to picture
They're making a new one.
all of the,
Wait, no, that's Animal Farm with Seth
Yeah,
Rogen. Sorry.
they screwed that up.
Another Orwell.
Another Orwell classic ruined. But I want you to picture all of the grunge workers that have to keep their head down and be prisons to this state. There's one guy in there that's like, I didn't download Pokemon Go. And they're like, shut up! What? Keep going back. And as he works for the redaction company, newspaper comes in, has got to redact, send it through. We got to another war. It's not God's chosen people again. Send it through. And he's just the whole time, I didn't catch a single Pokemon.
Yes, that's what it's all about.
That's
what this is all about. The whole administration, and the only one who doesn't have it is the Orange Man.
The Orange Man. He also was like, no, actually, my good guy friends told me not to download it.
My son, he loves it. He loves it. He's the best at it. He's better than your kids at it.
He's mapped the whole world.
Yeah,
The whole world.
The whole world, yes. He would say something like that, and then he'd bring up the Robo-Dogs.
The Robo-Dogs. And because of my kid, my Robo-Dogs are going to kill you. You little piggy.
Oh, my God.
That's our president.
It's a beautiful, beautiful country.
Any other rapping thoughts?
No, honestly, I couldn't add more to this, or I'm just going to start laughing and crying.
And this is where the Pokemon Go story stops being cute nostalgia and turns into a cautionary tale. Because the real reveal here isn't that this company made a widely successful game. It's that they turned millions of people into unpaid surveyors, willingly mapping the physical world for them in real time. Every walk, every step, every detour wasn't about catching Pokemon. It was about training a geospatial mapping system that understands where humans go, how long they stay, what draws them in, and how to move them like pieces on a board. Rare Pokemon didn't appear randomly. They appeared strategically, placed herding people towards specific landmarks, businesses, neighborhoods, and points of interest. That wasn't gameplay magic. That was data collection wrapped in dopamine. And here's the uncomfortable part. It worked perfectly. No government mandate, no force, no coercion, just nostalgia, gamification, and a phone in your pocket. People didn't just give up their data. They paid for the privilege, invited their friends, and defended the product online. This isn't about Pokemon Go anymore. It's about the blueprint. If a cartoon game can quietly build one of the most detailed human movement maps ever assembled, what happens when the stakes aren't entertainment? When it's logistics, policing, advertising, surveillance, or control? The lesson isn't delete the app. The lesson is wake up. If a product is free, if it's addictive, if it nudges your behavior instead of reacting to it, you're not the customer. You're the infrastructure. And once the infrastructure is built, it never gets dismantled. It's just repurposed. That's the real evil secret. Not that they watched you play, but that they taught you how to move and you never even noticed the leash.
One more thing, just thinking like they put one on top of Mount Kilimanjaro and they ask like why, and the guy just looks over and he's like, Darwinism.
Darwinism. He's frozen, just like, I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it.
He's gotta go back down now.
No, there's literally 6 couch nerds frozen on your walk like Everest. Welcome to the future.
That's so good.
It's so good. All right, now let's discuss an even more just chaotic story. If you're unaware, Netflix is it's making huge waves in California.
Netflix is back in the topics again.
Always.
It hasn't been long.
Well, and don't kid yourself. That's where this element becomes interesting. Yeah. That the Warner Brothers and everything else. Why it's an interesting topic. So they have created this thing, this new I guess, space of entertainment, and they're calling it the Netflix house. Here you can engage with scenes and set designs, products from past shows, but also just indulge like a theater. It's kind of like a movie theater with Netflix movies, the literal antithesis to what Doug enjoys. He hates movie theaters for the purpose of being able to watch Netflix at home. Now they're making a Netflix theater just so you can leave your house. Doug's pissed.
Do you think they have Mr. Beast chained in there or like a residency?
I don't think Mr. Beast is alive anymore. He's just a hologram that they can put anywhere. Jimmy.
Oh, no, he's just Mr. Beast.
That's it.
Hello, Mr. and Mr. Beast.
Mr. and Mr. Mr. and Mrs.
He's in
Beast.
there right now.
So as far as the Netflix house is concerned, this is a huge problem that nobody really noticed. For every person that enters through this gleaming red door, Netflix gets to own all of your image and likeness, your name, everything about you. And you'll be tuning into the new Peaky Blinders movie.
Nice.
And holy shit, is that me in the background? Walking in the streets in 1925?
Dude, do not tempt me to walk in that house.
I'll do it.
Here's what's great.
You picked the wrong thing.
Wait, no, shut up, Doug. Here's what I love. I plant this seed, and Will is going to walk through the red arches just so he could be in the Peaky Blinders movie, and then he doesn't realize that he's getting ass-rammed by the new Stranger Things kid in the finale. He's like, that is
screw
not
that.
what I
I'm
signed up
walking
for.
in Peaky Blinder garb. I'm here for a reason.
And they're like, you know what? Give him a coconut bob cut. He's going into Stranger Things.
I will
bend him over.
I'm the crush.
What were you going to say, Doug? You're excited.
No, just that I'd do it. I'd like to be in movies. That's
going
to be the only way. I mean, honestly, is my name and likeness that valuable? No. No.
We can't get this asshole in a movie theater, but he'll go in that house immediately. Yeah. Am I that valuable?
Doug is such a consumer of entertainment.
Yes.
That he will give away. He goes, what value is it? Guess nothing now. He'll
Netflix.
Give it away no matter what the value is, just in the hopes as it when he's sitting there Wall-E chairing, consuming the video, the big Black Mirror screen, just Is that me?
It's the Leo meme. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Right there.
Then the one part of his day where he sits, I'm in Stranger Things.
Dude, you're about to start talking about why this is dystopian and creepy as hell, and the whole time I'm just like, I'd do it. I think I'd walk in that door.
This is crazy, dude. This is the Pokemon Go thing on steroids. Netflix, hold on, real quick.
Oh, they already know. They already know when I go to the bathroom. I don't care.
What? That's what's okay. Here, the only clip I have for this segment is Netflix acknowledging that they've obviously the public has become aware of this. People caught the staff taking down when you walk through the red door.
Yeah.
They have placards that say the second you go through the door, you are condoning or consenting to. Yeah, you're consenting to Netflix owning your image, name, and likeness. Well, it's gone viral on TikTok. People are losing their minds. So people have caught them taking the placards down. What's funny is that doesn't change the legality. Your ticket still has it in the fine print. They've just made notice even less accessible, blurring the lines of your legal claim in the future. But even then, they know they got you because people like Doug and Will are literally saying, I'm going to go out of my way to go there.
Well, you sold me a Peaky Blinders, man. You should have started with something smaller. If you said Stranger Things, the reboot, I'd have probably been, which is
and honestly, I'd love for them to use my likeness in the live action One Piece. I'd be content with that.
See, here's
Dude,
your
they're gonna put you in a rom-com.
I've already got the beard of a pirate. Let them use
Dude,
it.
they're gonna put you in a rom-com, and you're gonna be the guy that's in the background looking creepy.
Listen, I love you guys.
Thanks.
But there is a major delusion to think you'll have any one. I know that you know this, but you're not going to have any choice in where this goes.
Oh, I know.
So you're going to give it up in the 1 in a million lottery ticket, never going to happen chance that you're in your favorite show, knowing full well they're going to turn you into a lesbian and make you, I don't know, best friends with. I'm going through shows like Mindy. You don't want to be in that.
Who's Mindy?
Exactly.
Is Mindy a show?
Mindy Project was Hulu, so Gerget's a little off.
Yeah, get your Netflix shows
Yeah,
right,
get
man.
your streaming correct.
Speaking of the Netflix shows, can we talk about how Stranger Things was the first Netflix like original that made it like worldwide fame, and by the end of it, it's a joke. Like it's kind of like what the studio is, that they're now to the point where they need your name, image, and likeness to kind of draw you in.
Yeah. Can I? This might be a trigger point, and I'm sorry, hot take, but
I did not care for
I really do think Stranger Things. Everybody's upset with the ending. This isn't Game of Thrones.
No, it's
because Game of Thrones was truly great, where some of those cinematic episodes are better than full franchises ever.
Mhm.
Like Battle of the Bastards, one of the greatest 2 hours, period, regardless of the rest of the series. But the buildup was so incredible. That's why the downfall was even greater,
Mhm.
because you fell from an even higher perch. I don't think this is that.
No, it's not.
What I think Stranger Things proved is that it was always two-dimensional bullshit that we always kept thinking like, all right, well, more's gonna, this is it. This is it. They got the kid from the upside down. And okay, now 2's meeting 3, and now we got 8 in the bitch. And it's just, the thing keeps going.
2, 3, 3. I can't wait.
Turns out, turns out there's no story. It's all been dog shit. And I think the rude awakening we're experiencing this time isn't that a great movie had a bad ending, but rather it's been a terrible series from the get with incredible marketing. That first pop off of the first season, I was like, okay, it was everywhere. Just shoved down everybody. You're going to love this show. And then you're like, you know what? It really wasn't that bad. And we're getting somewhere. So maybe this turns into something. Then the second season was so bad. I'm like, I quit. And then everybody's like, don't quit. Actually, it got better. And I got back in, and I literally just started 2-3 episodes at the end of season 3 and went into season 4. I was like, this is really good. Then it got really gay.
It got a little gay at the end.
And I'm out.
You know, it's just more the corporate side of it, I feel, really took over. That's what it really felt like the later it got on. And it's funny, this is now probably almost a month straight. Netflix has been a topic for a variety of reasons, not just like the singular reason. And we're going to get back to the point you brought up.
Let's get to it. Let's get to it.
it's
Here's
just
what's
like
crazy.
such a thing now,
Netflix
thing.
buys Warner Brothers.
Yes.
You now are going to be
no.
riding a broom
That's actually not
with
confirmed.
a Alphaba Voldemort.
Am
No,
I on a
Alex,
broom?
that's actually not.
You're the
confirmed
broom.
yet,
I
man.
am the broom.
Doug, you're going to get a chance. I promise. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say you're acting like that's already been approved. It hasn't. It still has regulatory approval plus the Paramount hostile takeover attempt. It's looking like
but the Paramount hostile takeover attempt it's deflated.
no, but at the same time though, it's looking like the Netflix. I just saw an article 2 days ago that was saying based on current like the way the thing is going with all the regulatory and everything. It's looking less likely that Netflix may actually succeed with their bid to buy them.
But
So it's not guaranteed
Really?
by any means. Yeah, I just saw an article a couple days. I wish I
That'd
could
be
remember
good.
more of it. But
That'd be good because even
Well-
then,
oh, I remember. I actually remember. This is part of the reason. A big pushback by like theater owners to them buying Warner Brothers because Netflix, like they see it as a way to kill theaters, and Netflix might not push out as many movies to theaters, and so it's facing a lot of pushback from theater owners too, and so that's gained a
Which
lot
I
of
like.
momentum.
well,
recently.
it's funny you mentioned theater owners because you could like watch this new season of Stranger Things in theaters. You could like actually go on the Cinemark app and buy tickets to like go. Watch
imagine
the,
the
thing.
delusion of these two brothers to think this dog shit product I could get from my living room is good enough to get somebody mobilized into a theater.
And that's the thing. That's why I kind of brought up like you had like the first season, which everyone always agrees is the best season. It was a novel idea. It was a fun Dungeons and Dragons thing. And now it's this literally gay product. And I'm not being facetious. That's like the big talking point of the most recent episodes.
Oh my God.
Is this whole thing. And it's just this commercialized drip down product now. But Netflix is everywhere then. You got like this Netflix house where they can use your name, image, and likeness. And Doug, I agree. Maybe they won't buy it, but at some day Netflix is going to own it.
Which that's the scary
That's the
part.
scary thing. That's where it's like always seems to be trending. It just seems like one valiant effort pushback by like the movie theaters, which Doug doesn't like, and like all these things to kind of prevent this takeover, which I'm in favor of. It just seems like this inevitable definition of insanity to where at some point Netflix will buy it, whether it's now or later on in the future. And when you're already seeing like this was the marquee Netflix show. Like
Great
it's been
point.
a decade. It's been a decade though. That's why I wanted to bring it up. It was a decade ago when this started.
That's
and this
crazy.
Was
Wait,
the
has it
first-
really? Someone who hasn't
Yes.
really watched it, it's been that long.
It's been that long,
Dude,
It's been a decade.
I thought The
2015.
Witcher
Doug,
was,
He's not wrong.
Doug,
2015.
Literally look
Wow.
at photos of the kids now to then. They're
Well,
children. They're
I
literally
knew-
children.
I knew
Infant
that,
child.
but you run into the same thing with any show where you hire younger kids, like the Game of Thrones. You know, the people age. Like you run into that even within a couple years when you hire kids. I didn't realize it had been 10 years though. Oh
But
my
it's not
God.
just the duration of time and the kids growing up. It's the fact that when this show came out, Netflix was still you could just go watch Breaking Bad there, right? Like you just had like your original television shows that were on other TV stations that were all just kind of put onto this platform. And that was like the first big original show. And now we're at this point where while this show is ending and it's not going well for, I believe, poor writing and corporate decisions. Like I just really think like this is a corporate. Netflix definitely wanted to meddle it with some point because you've seen with their shows all the time. Like I just think of that one with the little goth girl actress. It's about the Addams family, whatever it's called.
Yes, Wendy.
Yes.
Wednesday.
Wendy.
She looks like a black Wendy.
Yes. Whoa. And
She's white. What are we talking about here?
exactly, but I just seeing like it do the trend of like all these Netflix shows, and it's like this is where it's going. That's why I'm happy this takeover might get stopped right now. And then just to hear now, you could go to this house and your name, image, and like this is just it's like Peaky Blinders. You bring up Peaky Blinders. It's like that's not a Netflix original show. I'm thinking of like the Netflix original products, and they all kind of have the same color grading, the same filming type. I literally saw a comment, and they were, if you looked at the way Stranger Things is filmed this season, it's all filmed center mass for like, you can make like TikToks out of it,
Oh,
like edits and
God.
stuff like that. Like they literally strip down the artistic integrity. Like if you look at the way
Wow.
season 1 was filmed, I think of like the last episode when Nancy, Jonathan, and Steve are in the house and the Demogorgon shows up, and it's like really grimy, really dark, really atmospheric. And now it's just this studio effort production where it's really stripped down the pieces of the show that made it great. But it's always like center mass because you could get your TikTok and your trailers kind of to fit it and sell the product more, like a PR marketing management thing. It's really weird then to hear, oh, there's this Netflix house, which I hadn't heard of until you brought it up. And I'm just thinking, I'm like, what is Netflix becoming now?
Right.
Like, it's just not
even
original.
One of the things you made me kind of realize, or I just need to acknowledge, we make the jokes, you walk through the doorway, they own your name, image, and likeness. To have that, I have to retrieve it.
Right.
And I'm not going to get Doug to come back next Tuesday to step into a
A new room or
360
whatever.
scanner of cameras to get all of Doug. So I'm picturing in my head, the hilarious aspect is the even more unassuming aspect of this, which is you walk in and you're like, Demogorgon. Oh my God, it's
Squid Game.
yeah, Squid Game.
Yeah.
And you just keep watching the whole time. The ceilings hidden within the walls, everywhere you go is 360 scanning. The thing they own isn't just like a picture of you. They own the way you walk, your style, everything. They are going to be video, audio recording everything within their hallways. Dude, look at the ass on that. Gotcha.
Got it.
You want to talk about her jeans again?
It's
How
literally
great are they?
It's literally CCTV on crack
Literally.
to
Literally.
put you on some dumpster show. That's the thing with Netflix. I don't get it. I don't get what this corporation is slowly becoming. Not even slowly, like it's very quickly becoming, but now it's like in your face. Now it's like, this
Well,
is
it's
what we're doing.
interesting. Netflix, while it is an entertainment and streaming content platform, it also is a movie production studio. So just kind of analyzing Netflix as a production studio compared to something like A24.
Right.
A24 has probably $300 or $400 million more in product value for every 5 movies Netflix makes through their production studio.
Mhm.
And Netflix, they're swimming in so much freaking money that they're just throwing it at these movies, and they're giving it to anybody because they're black and trans. So here's $100 quadrillion. Go make what, and even if it's shit, I already got their $11 for the month, so we already got the cash. Go make whatever you make, and it's the product.
Mhm.
A24 goes, I don't care if I go 3 years without a movie, and then we do just 2 or 3 within a cycle. They would rather go a dry spell and 100% of the time drop film cinematic perfection.
Mhm.
And I think there's an art that is being lost in corporate cookie cutter slop.
Yeah.
And what that is gets compensated with more money in the CGI realm. And I'd rather buy an entire building of South Koreans and just make this Vecna look convincing than have to create a scenario of perfect lighting, great staging, and serious costume design. I don't know if you've seen the clips of Vecna in just sitting there playing on his phone. It's like, that's a joke.
Yeah.
Freddy Krueger in 1990 pissed on this.
And it's not just the CGI aspect. You haven't touched on it, but like the AI aspect. There's
Yeah.
like rumors going around that the AI was heavily used for like the dialogue in this most recent season.
So again, the major point I'm getting at is us as consumers. You're a cinephile. I think everybody here truly does appreciate the art. I've always been a movie enthusiast. The human eye sees it better.
Oh yeah.
You know it. And kind of like how Joe Rogan sucks now, but then you go and listen to a podcast from 7 years ago that you did listen to, but you surely don't remember. And it's like, listen to it again for the first time. It's like, oh my God, this is the good shit.
Yep.
And it's when I go back and watch a movie from 2008, like go watch a Harry Potter. I can promise you Hulu will be more money and more. It'll be trash.
Every December, I always do a rewatch of the Lord of the Rings trilogy. And
Another one.
It's one of those movies where I'm like, man, this is a timeless classic. Like, it really is.
You and I could belabor an entire series of podcasts, not even just an episode.
Mm-hmm.
We could do hours and hours of the lengths they went to just in Lord of the Rings to have a true field of orcs.
Right. And it's people in costumes. It's people in makeup.
Real
It's
makeup, real folks.
Well,
an entire, what was it, New Zealand
it's
or
New Zealand? That's what
an entire New Zealand landscape full of orcs.
Yeah, it's cool. So I was watching Return of the King, and it's the moment when Gandalf and Pippin arrive at Minas Tirith, and it's like just a beautiful landscape shot with like the great orchestral music, and it really like hits you. And you know that the city itself is CGI'd in it, but it looks so authentic, like into the mountainside, that it's believable. Like it's a legitimate place, kind of like how the Harry Potter movies were too. It's like they use actual on location British landscapes and built essentially the set there, to where when they're pulling back, it's like, oh, that's a legitimate location you can go to. Whereas it's the first season of Stranger Things, Hawkins, which is a fictional location in Indiana or Iowa or wherever it is, felt like a real town. Now it just feels like a bunch of movie sets and just this inauthentic thing.
Will, what's crazy is you mentioned how good that CGI city looks in Lord of the Rings. That was also like 20 years ago.
Oh, it's 20
like
years.
It's only gotten better too since then, you would think, and so it's crazy to think that great landscape and all that was 20 years ago.
And just for us to have a consistent topic come up where it's just this corporatized use of individuals, their name, image, and likeness, just trying to get more out of it, just to CGI and milk the cash cow that it is. It just takes away the authenticity of like what this art form really is. And that's why I didn't mean to like divulge off the topic, but it's just more, you're seeing it in real time. Like the marquee Netflix original just completely get dumbed down to this corporate slop that, sure, I'm going to tune in and watch the last episode, mainly just because I can't look away from a good car crash. Like it's in my brain. I need to see it.
I think to even further enhance your point, because you're onto it, like it all kind of builds off of itself. It's one big problem. But what's funny is you want to look at Netflix and go, all right, you're going to take the corporate slop trajectory. You want to just make movies and pump them out like cookie cutters.
Right.
The fact that you can't even look at Timothy Chalamet and go, hey guy, I'm sitting on a pile of annual market play of $80 billion.
Right.
I'll give you one. I want you.
Yep.
The fact that instead of that, they're like, just give me every Joe Blow off the street,
Right.
and we'll just AI a personality into that bitch.
Right.
They can't even, it's like if you're going to go the slop route of just CGI AI bullshit, you can't even go the extra length and go, but hey, we got Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, it's Doug with an algorithm giving him thoughts, ideas, and dialogue.
And he's doing that in the background.
Netflix, we got him.
Oh my God. If you ever go to that house, you have to do that around the whole building.
Oh,
I just need you to be doing
I
need
know,
you to
and
do-
here's Doug in 1922 in Peaky Blinders, just
jazz handsing the
Yeah.
shit out of that
Dude,
scene.
that's the
Oh
thing.
my
If,
God, that'd
if
be
I'm going to
beautiful.
go there knowing they're going to use me, I'm just going to walk around either like with a hunch, like something real awkward, and walk with like a
Oh
weird,
yeah. Oh
you
my
know?
God.
'Cause
That'd
Alex
be
made
fun.
The point, it's like they own your walk. I'll just say nothing the entire time and walk like this the whole
well,
See,
and
that'd
then
be
guess
fun.
what? Little does Doug know, the new Planet of the Apes was him walking through the Netflix
He would
studio.
enjoy the hell out of that. He'd be sitting
But
on
he
his
wouldn't
couch.
even know.
Oh no! I think the only beautiful thing out of this is you would have your friends be watching something you would never consider watching because it's dog shit, and they'll take a photo of him and be like, "It's you!" And I'd be like, "Great! I don't need to watch it now."
Yeah.
That's the only plus I see out of this whole thing. You know, funny enough though, speaking of Lord of the Rings, fun fact, when you talk about like, again, you can't even get like your Jim Carreys or like your established actors. And again, they don't need to be established. Well, I think
no, even more so, they're talented.
But I think that
Doug's outer skeleton has no talent. It's just an image of Doug. You couldn't even go, hey, Jim, I need you to talk the whole dictionary. Mm-hmm. Then I want you to do a couple act outs. Like, we're not even getting real talent. Right. You're taking a skeleton of strangers and having the computer puppet them.
Mm-hmm. And my thing with like the talent thing is like, think of what Netflix is actually producing. They're not getting like talented actors, talented directors to make things. I think the beauty of what Stranger Things was in the first season is you really did have it was literally the Winona Ryder show. I remember when they advertised it. It was the Winona Ryder show. And then when it came out, it was these kids these kids you never heard of. Like, they were unknown and they became famous, but it was this novelty, great idea. And then I think back to like the Lord of the Rings, and I think Peter Jackson, and it's like, you want to know where he got his start from? He directed like a bunch of like slasher horror movies. The guy who directed the Lord of the Rings trilogy directed like Freddy versus Jason. No, he was like Nightmare on Elm Street 5. And they took a gamble on giving this guy this trilogy to make this movie. It's like, that's the risk you take with the talent to make something. And now Netflix is just this corporatized, we're going to get Tim Burton to make this show. And it's like, great, another Tim Burton thing where it looks like every Tim Burton movie in the 90s. And it's just pretty average, but hey, it's more Tim Burton. You got to like it. It's the new It girl doing it. It's not working. And then the buy-in for the consumer is, oh, you could go to this house and maybe you could be in it. Huh. It just doesn't work. It just doesn't fit. It's when you brought up the orcs, it's like, yeah, these are actors trying to make it big as an extra, taking the time to put on this makeup, put on these costumes, and be in this production, hoping it goes on to something bigger for them.
But even then, it's the experience. But even then, what we have lost in the modern filling the background with computers and stand-ins, like a stand-in in 1980 was a thespian. Like, guys, I really want to draw upon like the first Joker movie, the Joker. That movie has shit. I mean, that's how irrelevant I guess he really is. But no, the comedian that's like on Brendan Schaub's show, and I like again every other day of my life. I know him off the top of my hand. From Mad TV. But now I have to.
Yeah, take it down.
And the Kid. Fighter and the Kid is their podcast. Nope. Sorry, gang.
The other co-host?
Yeah.
He was in The Hangover, too.
Right. That's what I like. Fuck. Come on, Google.
Think of his name either. I should be able to. Brian Callen.
Brian Callen. Thank you. Like I said, every other day of my life, I'd know it. Like,
right.
Anyway, take someone like Brian Callen. That's a guy that had a whole acting career in Mad TV, which at the peak of Mad TV is almost stealing the limelight from SNL. And with some corporate shifting, they never got taken serious enough, but they were close, dude. At the tail end of the Adam Sandler left and there's a void, that era, Chris Farley's gone. It's the new cast is not really making it, and Mad TV pops off. Brian Callen was at the heart of that. He has had a very serious cinematic career where to any of us, we sit at a Buckeyes game at the local bar and he walks in, he's the Hollywood, he's the it guy.
Yep.
In his circle, he's the joke. That's the sad part of the hierarchy here, right? Mm-hmm. They all look at him and be like, oh, you had 2 seconds in a sliver frame in the Joker. You had a couple lines, we never actually saw your face. Does not take away from how serious that guy takes his career. Yeah. And so the thing we've departed from is that even used to be a serious role. The stand-in, all these folks, where the art of like trying to recreate the scene, where again, lighting, sound, everybody is involved in a calculated scheme to where the guy in the back just spreading butter on his biscuit takes his job just as serious as the director does.
Yeah.
That's a lost art. So the thing I wanted to further enhance your point with is that orc, he's not even sitting there thinking, of course, everybody hopes it develops and like I get noticed in the background, but even more so, there was a pride in just being a part of the mechanism, and everybody's got their role.
Yeah.
Mine's not as important, however, or not as seen, nowhere near as less important.
Yeah, and I think that's the unfortunate thing. And again, we can go back to the Netflix house. I think it's a pretty quick and simple thing. Like, it's just like they're kind of doing this using your name, image, and likeness. It kind of goes off the Pokemon Go thing. So I get why you picked the topic. It just, for me, it really just resonates with the idea that, not even the idea, just the notion that Netflix is this conglomerate corporation now that doesn't exactly care about the talent. They just want to prop up whoever, be able to market it, and give you a pretty sub-average product in the end. I mean, when was the last time a Netflix show came out that was an original? Squid Games. Squid Game was the last original one where it came out. It took the world by storm. And that one,
and at least they kept it.
And they kept it and they got rid of it at the perfect time, because then the idea of like Squid Game America, it's like, oh, I don't care. I don't care.
Yeah.
I got a nice little product here. Stranger Things, they struck gold with season 1. I don't think they really knew what to do with after that. And you probably don't know about the secret of Stranger Things. It was kind of like considered plagiarized by the Duffer Brothers.
I did see that come out,
So
and I laughed
it's
because
kind of
it's like,
ironic considering where it is now, and it's kind of going down the drain. And it's, yeah, you kind of
once you couldn't, once it came to your original writing, it fell off real quick.
right. And that's why
Interesting.
whenever I tell people, I'm like, just watch the first season. It's a great little thing. If you want to continue at your own risk. I'm not saying you won't like it. You may love it. You may love certain aspects of it. I still think season 4 has a lot of great value.
Yes.
It's just, it inevitably turned into the Netflix corporate gay slop. And I don't mean to use that word as, oh, it's a trigger word. No, that's literally what it did. That's literally what the product did. That's why it's been a joke for a week now. They almost would have been better off just releasing this entire season all at once.
Dude, it's funny you mentioned that. Dude, Henry Cavill, all right, The Witcher, great
Perfect
show.
example.
First 2 seasons, pretty great. Henry Cavill left because he didn't agree with the direction they were going, and he's a true fan of like stuff
Witcher
like
series,
that,
yeah.
anime, video games, all that. And so he actually left the show, and they recasted him with a Hemsworth because he didn't agree with the direction they wanted to go with.
And that,
Well,
that
good,
is
because you got
awesome.
somebody. The sad part is when you had somebody that cared about it,
Cared.
this is what happens. And instead of adjusting to create a better product, they just blame the audience and blame those that are the thespians that are trying to make a good product.
right. So when it comes to this Netflix house, it's, man, they have no ideas. They just want to entice the people to continue watching it at whatever costs. And at the end of the day, they just want to buy up all the movie theaters, all the production companies, just so they can put it all into one basket. So even if it doesn't work now, it's definitely going to go in that direction. So I'm glad you brought up A24, because I really think they're one of the original indie
They're the
movie-
last
A24
of the
is
Mohicans,
great.
I think.
If you're out there right now, I can't implore you enough. Please go watch Marty Supreme. Even if you don't have an idea what that movie is, it's an A24 movie. I saw it. I thought it was fantastic. It's very much like Uncut Gems. I might go see it again. I'm a huge Timothée Chalamet fan. I'm really glad he hasn't given into that corporate slop outside of Dune, which again, fantastic series. Give
Dune
that a
is
watch.
Great. Will, I'll
It's-
support you. Dune is great.
Yeah, it's like great original content made by directors who really care about the art, the medium. Go see it. Give them your money.
That's
if you,
also why
if you
they've
really
taken-
don't care about Netflix or Stranger Things, I would consider canceling your membership, because I'm really at the point now, even after Stranger Things ends tomorrow, which I'm not going to watch it. So probably like the second or the third, I'll watch it. I'm going to probably cancel my membership, because I do not care.
And it's
I've lost
so
interest.
expensive.
Oh yeah, it's getting
Like
up
it's
there now.
we already had this talk, but if
Yeah,
I got my whole
most expensive
family
streaming service.
and we're limited to 15 devices,
Mhm.
you got Apple TVs, your phone. By the end of it, I've got 3 things I can watch Netflix on.
If you literally go to my continue watching right now, it's Stranger Things, which ends, like I said, in the next day or so, and then One Piece, which I could go watch it on another platform.
You're gonna run out of that too. They end after Whole Cake Island on Netflix.
Yeah,
just
so
so
they
you
don't
know.
even have all the episodes. So for me, it's just not worth it. Don't give them your money. I know I jokingly fell for the bait when you said Pinky Blinders at the beginning. I'm not going to go to this house. I would have no interest. I don't leave my house.
Well, plus,
so why would I go there?
I'm not like Doug. I do think my name, image, and likeness, if not now, will have value. And I'm not going to live a life where it won't.
But it's funny you bring up Peaky Blinders, because it's ironic that the product you brought up, again, is on Netflix. It is a show I deeply, deeply love, but it's not a Netflix original show. That's the irony of it. that they have
Interesting.
these other shows that they could bring in. So then I started thinking of, well, what other Netflix original shows? And you could literally put one on and instantly, even if they didn't have the Netflix original logo at the beginning, within half an episode, you could be like, this has got to be made by Netflix. I could just tell by the production. I could just tell by production value, who's the director, who's the writer, probably somebody I don't know, don't care about. They hopefully get some big name actor to join it, and that's what hooks you in.
You're
That's
right.
it. That's all it is.
Doug, any rapping thoughts on the whole thing?
I mean, I don't have any plans to actually go, but I wouldn't say having them take my name and likeness is that big of a deal. I'm not a college, high school, or NFL player where my name and likeness actually are worth millions. So,
Well, live with that enthusiasm, and it never will either.
Live and let Doug.
Living like Doug. And this is where the Netflix house stops being a cool experience and starts looking like a warning label we all ignored. Because this isn't just about themed rooms and immersive fun. It's about ownership of your image, ownership of your likeness, ownership of your behavior once you step inside a space designed not just to entertain you, but to record you, analyze you, and monetize you. Netflix isn't inviting you into a house. They're inviting you into a closed ecosystem where the cameras are ambient and the consent is buried in the fine print. Oh, and your participation becomes content whether you intend it or not. The second you walk in, you're no longer just a fan, you're a data point, a performer, a reusable asset. And we're told this is the future, that this is the interactive storytelling, that it's harmless, that it's optional. But every step forward in this model is a step away from being a consumer and toward being the product itself. The difference now is that it's physical. It's embodied. It's your face, your reactions, your movements, and your voice captured in high resolution and owned by someone else forever. This isn't paranoia, it's precedent. Once companies normalize the idea that entering a branded space means surrendering your likeness, there's no going back. The line between audience and inventory disappears. You don't just watch the story anymore. You become a part of the IP. And the scariest part, people will line up for it. I mean, look who I'm sharing a studio with. They'll smile for it, pay for it, defend it. Because the system doesn't need force when it has spectacle, doesn't need coercion when it has convenience, and it doesn't need permission when you've already agreed without reading to give yourself away. Netflix house isn't the end game. It's the proof of concept. The question isn't whether this is legal. The question is how much of yourself you're willing to hand over for a photo, a clip, a moment before you realize you no longer own the version of you that's being sold back to the world.
If I were to walk through that house, though, I'd make sure I'm hitting the gritty so they put me in the Fortnite movie whenever that comes out. I would just do that the whole way through.
I'm going to be honest with you. I'm sitting here making an argument to Doug like, hey, Doug, you never know. My name, image, and likeness could be worth something someday, regardless of what that mystery number could ever be. If there's a Fortnite movie, I'm walking in that house. Open the door.
I'm hitting the gritty into the bathroom, out of the bathroom, up the stairs, downstairs. I don't give a damn.
Up the stairs,
I
down
don't give
the
a damn.
stairs.
That's the only thing they're gonna have of me is hitting
Giving
that
him a
gritty.
couple of these.
Yeah. Do that. Do this one. Do this one.
No, this one isn't in the kid. This is banned from the kid maps in
Yeah.
Fortnite.
That would be enticing because that would be a Netflix original thing. Because Denis Villanueva is not directing
You just
that
see
movie.
Jack Black jumping off the bus, and then it's me in the background.
Oh
Ooh.
yeah, okay. That would be a seller. That would be a seller. I'm just saying.
No, really, it's Kim Kardashian and Sabrina Carpenter,
Alex,
the real
you gave
ones.
me so much crap, but here you are going Fortnite.
Dude, you just-
Okay, I'm
I'll
not.
sell out.
I'm only human.
Dude, you just
Yeah.
gotta think. You gotta think of the corporate thing they would do, and that's up there.
Fortnite. Here's what
See, and I'm fine with One Piece. I'd be content with being a One Piece.
I don't see Fortnite exploiting us the way
Of course
Netflix
they will.
would.
They want money.
They just put Kim Kardashian in the game. Hell no, they're not exploiting us.
Pay me for skins. Literally, the skins on her skin. That's what I'm talking about. Her clothing line. You could buy like 50 different versions of skins clothing.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be enticing. Not saying I wouldn't do it, but I'm not saying I would do it.
I
either.
will tell you, okay, not to get derailed, but when you get in a world where Ice Spice is the main theme song in a child SpongeBob animation movie, and she shows up naked.
Is she really?
Yes, she showed up naked. Did you see that?
I
She
didn't know
showed
was even
up
part of the movie.
lacking severe clothing to a child's movie premiere. And I implore everyone, I'd get in trouble if we played it, so I couldn't incorporate it in today's show, even if I wanted to. They talk about SpongeBob is that guy,
Okay.
and the way she says it sounds like she's saying something very explicit,
Oh, right.
and it's so intentional. So you've got Ice Spice showing up to a SpongeBob movie naked
Okay.
in a song talking about SpongeBob's junk, hardcore, big chicken, male chicken.
Big spongy chicken.
It's supposed to sound like guy
Chicken jockey.
because they talk cool, right?
Oh, yeah.
English isn't a thing for them. That's only for white people. And so they go, guy. And the guy is really talking about SpongeBob's car. It's great, but the song's fantastic and it's really addictive because it's probably got the devil's tone in it and
Yeah.
it's got me hooked. But I will say, the more I listen to it, the more I get frustrated with myself that when they release the Ice Spice skin, and I'm like, whoever would fucking buy that? We should put them on a cruise, take it 1,000,000 miles out and sink it. Those are the people we don't need anymore. Now with retrospect, all I do is wish I bought it. That's a problem.
I'm thinking back.
That's a
'cause
problem.
I didn't know she was a part of this movie at all. I had no idea this was a thing. In my
Neither
life.
did the kids until SpongeBob's talking about his guy.
And then I'm just thinking back to the SpongeBob movie when we came out, and I'm thinking, oh yeah, that was David Hasselhoff.
David Hasselhoff.
Yes. And, yes, he was wearing as much clothing as Ice Spice was, but he also came from Baywatch.
I
That was
mean,
the
And
whole
as a
thing.
guy,
That was the
should
whole
be
thing.
topless.
he was literally a plot point.
That's true.
He actually was a plot device.
No, Ice Spice is just a background talking about the guy.
All right, I might have to look into this just so I'm
Yeah,
more
go to
cultured,
TikTok. When you leave, go Ice Spice, SpongeBob. Guy.
because for the cinephile I am, I guess I missed a SpongeBob movie.
This
let
one's a
alone
good one.
everyone
This one's a goodie.
that was involved with it. But
Well, that's
this-
why in Fortnite you could get the little pal instead of a puppy or
Peels.
a fish.
Mine's Peels.
Well, now you can buy SpongeBob. Oh yeah.
Cool. I don't know why. That's kind of cool.
I just wish I bought Ice Spice. It haunts me. I would have bought her if I could.
Maybe she'll be back.
We got to get to our last topic here because it is quite a doozy. The question I have for you all is, do you remember Vance Boelter?
No.
If you don't, let's take a quick walk down memory lane.
Do you remember Vance Boelter?
Do you
The man who worked for Tim Waltz, who unalived a Minnesota representative? Minnesota Representative Melissa Hortman was the only Democrat to vote against health care funding for illegals in Minnesota. She was unalived almost immediately after her vote.
I know that people will be hurt
Promise I'm not
by
laughing at
that
the topic.
vote, and we worked very hard to try to get a budget deal that wouldn't include that provision.
DFL Speaker Emerita Melissa Hortman emotional following the House's adjournment from a special session Monday.
This happened this year, right?
Hortman was the lone DFL lawmaker to cast
What I
a vote
thought.
to cut Minnesota
What I thought.
Care access for undocumented immigrants. It's a move she made with a heavy heart.
I did what leaders do. I stepped up and I got the job done for the people of Minnesota.
Very shortly after this, she was unalived in her home by Vance Boelter, who was later caught after a manhunt. He then sent a letter to the FBI and Kash Patel saying that it was Tim Waltz who forced him to do it. Both Vance Boelter and his wife worked for Tim Waltz for years in different states. Today, it's breaking news that the money laundering scam in Minnesota of billions of dollars for healthcare offices, child daycares, Medicaid, and various forms of care agencies. These money laundering frauds have been exposed, and it all comes back to Tim Waltz. Was
Fraud.
Melissa Hortman
That was
unalive
pretty good.
because she
I do gotta
exposed?
say, I
And
love
it all
that
comes
image.
back to Tim Walsh.
Look at him, man. Look at his big smile, that big toothy grin. He's thrilled.
I am a useful idiot.
Was Melissa Hortman
Bad
unalive
pick.
because she voted against a multi-billion-dollar money laundering fraud? The fraud that she voted against that heavily implicated illegal aliens, specifically Somalians, who have been racketing this kind of childcare, healthcare rackets and cooperating with our corrupt government. In Vance Boelter's letter, he said Tim Walz put him up to it because Tim Walz wanted a
That's an
seat in
image.
the Senate. But maybe all it really was
Looks like
about
fucking
was
players.
billions and billions of money laundering, a racket dependent on illegal immigration and compliance.
I can't help think, though, of all the people who would be a little miffed and tell us that this was a big fuss would be Mark and Melissa, never seeking that limelight, but always being at the place where good was being done.
That's nice to say at her funeral. They'd be a little miffed. Be a little miffed we got her. Here's what's
We got him.
crazy. The fact that, okay, who's Vance Boelter? This guy is the one that I don't even have to say allegedly. He's the one being pinned for the murder of Representative Melissa Hartman. I want to remind folks, because we're going to get to that closing out the episode, reminders of the year, just kind of rewinding and reflecting on the year. One of the things that we just skate by is around the same time of the assassination of Charlie Kirk, there was a judge's house that was blown up.
Yeah, I remember that.
And here's the reality, folks. When you don't get to the bottom of these things, when the homosexual partner of Nancy Pelosi shows up at their house with a hammer and they got this weird exchange where they clearly know each other and they're holding hands, but I don't know this guy, he's going to get me. When nothing comes of it, it's the government.
Yes.
So when a representative, if you and I were to do something crazy, like take out a representative, it doesn't go away.
Nope.
So know that when it does go away, it's the government. If you don't think whatever alarm that Representative Melissa Hartman ignored is not the same exact alarm that was given to Marjorie Taylor Greene, and she's like, I've read this book before.
Yeah.
I'm going to go home.
Yep.
That's the mechanism here. When a judge's house, their beach house that's 4 stories tall, gets blown off the beach and you hear crickets, you know who it was. So I kind of raise this because now this becomes Punch the Retard Fest. I'm sorry. We just go full gas pedal on Tim Walz. So I want to tell a story, and it's about this evil MAGA journalist. That's what gets pinned on you when you just do basic journalism and the facts aren't liked by the liberals or just really the mechanism itself.
CNN business.
Here's what's interesting. A 23-year, so here's the bigger story.
Real quick.
Yeah.
I feel like at 23, it's a little hard to just label a young man
MAGA. He's voted once.
Yeah,
Remember-
like that's absurd to me.
Thank you. That's why I pulled this, because as I'm getting ready for today's episode, this was just one little article. It took them 2 days for the corporate press to finally acknowledge, shit, this story's got too much momentum. We can't ignore it. So this young man, Nick Shirley, 23 years old, does hard-hitting journalism, something that's dead in America. He does boots on the ground. I think he's from Texas. I don't even think he's from Minnesota.
He's got a bit of an accent, southern accent.
So he goes to Minnesota. Him and it seems like a dad, an uncle, somebody within his network, that they did the public record requests, did the research, and found over $1 billion of federal grants to Somali daycare centers that were getting these grants en masse as signed by Governor Tim Walz for under the guise of creating structural networks for the youth. really it maximized money into a vein that was a money laundering system that's been exploited, and they just maximized that exploitation. So this young man goes to these locations where Somalis, that literally the sign says leaning center, forgot the R, child's leaning center.
It wasn't like,
No, dude, it's a printed plastic. I put more money. I don't even have a grant.
Well,
this is just my dumbass money. I have more into this LED sign in this painting.
well, I was going to ask, was it an LED sign and the R was just out?
It literally, yeah. No, it's like a plastic printed sign taped to the front of the awning of the establishment. And the human that typed it in doesn't know English. They're Somali. Left out an R, but they're learning.
Are they?
And then the folks that even printed it were like, either they can't read or like, this is what they paid for. Child's Leaning Center getting a couple $1 million, upwards to $15 million, depending on the establishment. And I apparently about at least 40, as of today, prior to the show, I was looking at 80 arrests have occurred. People try to ignore this. There's something really awesome about a 23-year-old kid doing independent journalism. The corporate press wanting to ignore a story that comes from a 23-year-old kid until the vice president goes and acknowledges it, and the FBI director then feels responsible to give a statement. Now the corporate press can't ignore it. It's federal. This is awesome. That as a kid in the rethink tank, that is as exciting as it gets, because what's even cooler is how the corporate press then just went and doubled down. They didn't go, oh, you found it? Well, let's run with it. Let's also show we are a virtue of truth. No, they continue to be like, no, we didn't report it. It's not part of us. It's not, la, 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 la. It's not one of us. And it only hurts their credibility and further empowers independent journalism, where just like a train dumps over in East Palestine, Ohio, and it takes TikTokers to make something happen there, the people don't forget those things. They live them, they experience them, they remember them.
I remember the current administration at the time didn't even go there until the now current administration went there first.
Bingo.
It's ironic.
And again, Trump didn't even do it until, sir, you got the biggest following on TikTok. They're all doing this. Well, yeah, the people on TikTok love me. I gotta go. And so he goes.
Jimmy sent the robo-dogs. Sorry.
No, he just put a couple Pokemon Go locations there. And
secular.
It all comes full circle.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. This is exciting for Nick Shirley. But also, with great attention comes the headaches and hassle of those that may not favor your position.
Oh, you got enemies now.
Oh, and when your enemy is a political retard, it does not help that because he doesn't know how to logically think and he doesn't know how to cognitively attack these issues. His instinct is white supremacy. That Nick Shirley, the 23-year-old, is clearly operating on white supremacy. Now, did 1,000 Somalis steal $1 billion from the American taxpayer? Yes. But if you see that, you're racist. So here's Tim Walz, and here's his great political attempt at, I guess, changing the narrative and owning the situation.
Dozens of people of East African descent have been charged, convicted, and sentenced for stealing more than $1 billion in taxpayer money from government programs during COVID. As you know, Governor, that is more than Minnesota spends each year to run its Department of Corrections. So I want to give you a chance to respond to this. Do you take responsibility for failing to stop this fraud in your state?
Well, certainly I take responsibility for putting people in jail. Governors don't get to just talk theoretically. We have to solve problems. And I will note, it's not just Somalis. Minnesota is a generous state. Minnesota is a prosperous state, a well-run state. We're AAA bond rated, but that attracts criminals. Those people are going to jail. We're doing everything we can. But to demonize an entire community on the actions of a few, it's lazy.
It's lazy. And, well, sir, it seems like you're dancing around what you really want to say. Can you take this opportunity and be more direct?
I want to hear more from members and leaders from the smaller community to say, we need to look at ourselves. We need to hold our own neighbors accountable, because look at the damage that this has done to our community. What do you want to hear more from, instead of just saying, don't blame us? Do you want to see more ownership and oversight from within this?
Look, it's not law-abiding citizens. If that were the case, there's a lot of white men should be holding a lot of white men accountable for the crimes that they have committed. I think for the community to maybe educate their population, because I think what you're seeing here is there's secondary victims in this, that there's providers inside the community that are then victimizing the community themselves by signing them up, because when we're going to some of these people, they're like, I had no idea I was in this program. So I think it's asking us then, you know, for every crime, which of course the majority being committed by white men, asking us to do more about that. I think it's crime in general. And I think the biggest thing on this is just making sure that we're educating the population. And again, this is 80 people or so that have been convicted in this, maybe some more in that. But this is what happens when they target communities for their own benefit. This is what happens when they scapegoat. And this is what happens when they no longer hide the idea of white supremacy.
So it sounds to me, Nick, that Governor Tim Walz is saying that you and others that are out there trying to expose this, you know, you're doing it because you're white supremacists. What is your response to him?
Yeah, Tim wants votes. There are entire apartment complexes where white people have been pushed out of these apartment complexes because Somalians have taken over and they're inside of these towns like Minneapolis, where they can go get votes from these people. And if you have 100,000 people that will vote for you because you're going to enable and let this stuff happen, and because you're going to call a white person racist for calling out facts, this is what's going to happen to a state like Minnesota. Minnesotans, they say Minnesota nice, but they are very upset. And I fully understand why they're upset, because they don't have a governor who's actually working for them. He's actually working against them.
Nick, your video's been viewed 93 million times. What do you think will be the result of this? Do you think that things...
It's upwards of like 120 million by now.
Will change because of bringing attention to this, or do you think it'll be much the same, swept under the rug and keep moving forward?
Yeah, there better be change. People are demanding it. The investigations have been launched just from that video alone. And so there better be change, because like I said, we work way too hard to be paying taxes. We work way too hard to be not knowing where our money's going. And at the end of the day, people in the government, they work for us. We don't work for them. And so it's their responsibility to hold these people accountable. And so if there's not something that's happened, people are going to be very frustrated. And so if President Trump's watching this, it's time to really get down to nitty gritty. And
here's what I got to say. For a 23-year-old kid, great political answer. Responded way better than I ever could. I would have been way meaner. Great job.
Oh, would you?
Nick? No, me never.
I
got 100 hours of it.
I just like how Waltz is saying, you know, people need to get more of an education, and it said leaning center.
That's the joke. That's the joke. Funny. And there's two great satirical angles that Nick and his team took walking up to here. Walking up to a specific. So here's how it plays out. You've got an organization that's taking $2 million annually for taking care of 15 kids or 25 kids. They walk up and they go, "Hi, I got my son, little Joey. I was hoping I just want to enroll him into your leaning center here. He stands too straight. Can we get some paperwork? We'd like to put him in your daycare, your leaning center." Mm-hmm. And they look at it again, just like, what is a woman and am I racist? These are going to be the greatest, like, social changing medias you could put out there, because you're letting them, just displaying them alone defeats them, right? Just letting Tim Walz talk defeats Tim Walz. Like, dude, I don't even need to put the video up of you and assless chaps. I just got to get you a microphone. You'll do all the work for me. What's beautiful about this documentary is they hurt the whole argument. "Hi, I got a little Joey. He'd like to lean in your center here. Can I get some paperwork? I'd like to enroll him." And they're like, "We don't, what has come?" Like, I'm done pretending I need to hate the fact that I don't that we don't have Americans that don't assimilate anymore. It's a melting pot. We're supposed to be one cohesive culture. That means we share a language, a community, a culture, what makes us laugh, what makes us cry. When somebody gets shot in the neck, it's tragic for all of us. That's what a community is. And so I don't feel bad when I look at somebody and I go, you are literally forcing the square box to the circle hole. You're oblonged. You don't belong here. It's I thought me. So the one angle is just showing like I can't even enroll. You're taking money, federal taxpayer dollars, by the billions, and I can't even enroll here. That's satirical angle one. And the second one is, on this paper, you received $2.5 million for 90 kids. Do we need to go to the police? Like, do we need to do a missing child? Where are 90 kids? Yeah. You lost 90 kids? And then the old guy just starts freaking out. He's like, where are the kids? You lost the kids? Where are the? And it's just people that literally don't even speak the language. Talk about calling them illegal aliens isn't because they're mean. It's because you're literally, by definition, something you don't open, a dictionary, flip to it. Alien, by definition, that's what you are. They're like, I don't even speak the language. Sir, I want to you just accepted $2 million for the leaning center. I'd like my kid to lean here. I'm allowed to have a problem with that.
It is great when Tim Walz is the spearhead of this entire issue because he is the king of exactly how you respond to that question. He's also the same guy who said he was a football coach and had stolen valor.
He also said he was. I could have literally killed this episode. The whole like depth of our media is this ending section here. I could have buried us. The videos of him like doing the debate with JD Vance, and they're like, "Hey, you said you were in Tiananmen Square during it when the guy was protesting against the tank. You saw it with your eyeballs. Records show you didn't go there until August of that year. Got any response?" And he's just like, he says all of this language to be like, I'm a bonehead someday. He literally, with his words, this is not parable. I'm a bonehead sometimes. And JD Vance's shit-eating grin of like, seriously, dude?
It's almost like that was another reason why they didn't win the election. I mean,
there's
another.
Plenty of reasons, but that's a comical one to just consistently point to.
All right, we've gone deep into the show. We're about an hour and 37 minutes in, and I couldn't give a shit what Ricky has to say. But I guess at this, I mean, we've literally been ignoring him for over an hour and 40 minutes. We just keep going. Maybe we could hear from Ricky. Ricky, do you want to chime in? What are your thoughts on this whole ordeal?
What's your outside view?
The dude do good content, man. He showed up in New York, brought his fake Gucci bags and Louis, and all them guys picked their stuff up and ran off. So he was showing them he ran the streets. He went there showing everything. The next day, ICE came, pick up 6 people. I love his content. He's a good YouTuber.
Hey,
it's really great on the ground boots journalism, though.
It's real.
Yeah, it's real.
Well, and this is what kind of captivates people anymore is the genuineness of the media. Back to the biggest media conglomerate wants to just make AI, CGI slop. And the thing that kids, the human is instinctively always going to gravitate towards is what's natural and real. Mm-hmm. And there's something about this that here's the thing. $1 million think tanks are, because you got Democrat think tanks, Republican think tanks, and everything in between.
And 3 guys with a camera.
And they're rethinking. But the people that are just thinking on its surface, not getting the regurgitation of the thinking.
They're not tuning in.
For the rest of them, of those in the Democratic faction, which again, there are billions of dollars being swirled in a think tank mechanism for speech and thought control in the political scheme of the Democrats. Republicans are doing the same thing. Do you know how hard they're working overtime to try to bury, hide, justify, excuse this situation? and the strength, beauty, and power in just a human doing human work, showing the human reality. There's not enough money in the world for those think tanks to think their way out of this.
No, dude, you got to think in less than a year, we're going to have midterms. And for the first 10 months of this presidency, they've had any and all reason to complain about, much of which we've discussed on this podcast as valid, considering the ICE riots. And then something like this happens, and we're all just like, yep.
Exactly.
Yep. Sorry, you reeled us back in. And it's a real thing. It's not like it's a faux thing that's happening. It's real money. It's real false just operations being run by illegal immigrants, where we're all just like, okay, yeah, now I remember. You lost you've in one foul swoop, you lost the argument you were kind of getting us on.
Yes.
This isn't going, and this isn't an easy fix. And you could tell within the first 2 weeks after, especially, he's like, Kamala, get the microphone out of his face. But you can't, because he's the governor in charge. I think back to like DeSantis during COVID and how well he handled that, and how they hated when the mic would go in his face and then kind of go in his favor. This is the complete opposite on the spectrum, where it's, you have this buffoon who we all saw was a buffoon a year ago, kind of disappeared, is now being forced to have this conversation. Meanwhile, the other person that almost won is on a book tour doing God knows what, trying to promote some other thing that's completely probably false. Don't know the facts on that. I'm just going to go out on a limb.
But it also makes you wonder, how deep in this ish would we be if they won?
Oh, 100%. And I don't even want to consider that. Considering now, it's just funny that the boots on the ground journalism immediately painted with all the trigger words that they like saying: misogynistic, white supremacists. We need more white people arresting more white people. And it's like, dude, we are. What is this?
Yeah.
Like, that didn't stop.
Actually,
whatever you're saying,
Tim Waltz, you can't virtue signal enough to be black. So let us arrest your ass. You're white, I'm white, and I want you in a cage.
And it's funny, you bring up the Vance Boelter thing, and it's now cool. Let's bring up that too.
Let's take it full circle. I appreciate you bringing us back there. So let's talk about the FIB, Kash Patel's crown. Let's talk about that organization that has your best interest at heart. 23-year-old kid unmasks this huge problematic mechanism. Kash Patel has to acknowledge this. His tweet: hey, turns out we never told you guys. Holy shit, I forgot to tell you guys. We actually have been working this out. We've arrested a whole bunch of people. Mind you, this whole impression, picture, chameleon eyes going every which way.
I just envision it.
Okay, so
somewhere.
Little did you know, well, she's dancing in the 100-acre wood with poo in the honey. So I promise you, we've been working on this the whole time, and turns out we've already made 40 arrests. Who? Trust me, bro. After a year, I've given you all the reasons to trust me, bro. So there's that. Okay?
That was pretty good.
Then bringing it back to the Boelter, Vance Boelter. He literally handwrites 2-page letter to Kash Patel. Hey, remember you guys spent about a year and a half and a couple $1 billion telling the entire American public that you want to arrest these bad guys in blue jerseys? I am testifying in writing and in reality that the governor solicited me to murder the one Democrat that voted against just damn flooding Somalians with millions of dollars. And Kash now has to respond because we were kind of made aware of it, but then we were distracted by the guy who had his neck blown out. So now it becomes resurfaced, and he's like, trust me, bro, I took care of it.
That's good.
Oh, yeah?
No,
What'd you do? What's the source of the investigation? Oh, that thing? Didn't do it, but trust me, bro.
No, I do. Yeah.
Do you know how, this is my message to the government. My pitchfork was in the garage. Now it's in my living room. And it
It's
just
part of the decor.
it is moving closer and closer to me.
It's moving closer to me and then to the door.
And then to the door. My dog's on fire. We're running at you.
That's pretty good.
Anyway, it is a curious, like a thing that, I think QAnon is an entire Trump psyop 100%.
Yes.
But a tagline that came from that is irrefutably a baseline to all of these logical considerations. Coincidence, coincidence, coincidence. And Occam's razor is supposed to be your default mechanism of evaluating these situations. Well, Occam's razor requires you to assume one, the least convoluted, reasoning for something, but it forces you to ignore coincidences.
Right.
Because it's not a coincidence, it's Occam's razor. Mm-hmm. But at one point, and I'm sorry, I hate sounding like QAnon because that was such a joke of a psyop by the government. But for real, think about this logically and mathematically. How many coincidences until it's mathematically impossible? Saying it's mathematically impossible to be a coincidence.
Oh, I agree.
It isn't. They're all connected. Everything about this. You're stupid if you don't think the one blue jersey player that stood up for the people and did what her heart said immediately winds up murdered by somebody within this guy's political mechanism. And he goes, he told me to do it. But I'm also supposed to believe the furry with a tail butt plug that was like, I'm getting my gun from the vehicle, my love. We'll take that text as an affidavit of truth. But this is just a note from a crazy guy in a jail cell. Are you on our side? You were voted in the spirit of you want to go get these guys. Do you want to get them or not?
Trust me, bro.
Trust me, bro. As nobody gets arrested.
Yeah, it's kind of great that it gets to resurface because of this entire situation. And unfortunately for them, the Vance Boelter thing, as we saw, is completely easy to just kind of let breeze in the wind and flow down the road. This isn't going to go away because this resonates with more than just the money issue, and it's the immigration issue. And that's not what's going to go away. And don't kid yourself, considering midterms are next year, they're going to want this to drag out as long as possible.
And guess what? There's a whole, I love you bringing that up. Tim Walz, 2 years before the election, all these Somalis that are not citizens have valid IDs and will be voting in the next federal election.
Right. And the thing is, too, it's like, okay, again, it's Minnesota. And it's what I thought when they went through the election process, when they picked him as the VP. I thought that was just a dumb move strategically. You're going to win Minnesota regardless. You didn't need him to win the votes. JD was a perfect pick. We want to make sure we get Ohio. We're going to pick JD. They should have gone with Shapiro out of Pennsylvania, in my opinion. Looking back, you want Pennsylvania. Everybody always says Pennsylvania is a key state. You picked an individual that always goes Democrat, and we know why they're going Democrat. You just explained why. All of them are going to vote, and I wonder who they're going to vote for. Probably not the kid that showed up at the door.
No, it's the one giving them the $5 million with no 90 kids.
Exactly, and that's why I think this mechanism coming out perfectly right at the turn of the year, because everybody's home, they're all talking politics, and this is a huge story. And the beautiful coincidence, because mathematically coincidences are going to happen, is this kid just happened to do this now, right? And he didn't just happen to start doing this now. This is something he's looked into, is known about, and then finally went there and did that. For the media to now can't ignore this, because they can't ignore it. This is Melissa Hartman, God rest her soul. She did a brave thing. I can 100% see why the government would completely overlook that. I mean, it's been 3 months since Charlie Kirk, and that's already a thing we have already been there, done that, talked about, even though people privately are still talking about it. In the media, they're not talking about it as much. This thing, it's so much bigger because it's an entire statewide thing with the governor at the top who's directly implicated in all of it.
Did I play the CNN video? I don't know why it's left the queue, but there's a video. So I before we get into this a little bit deeper, Tim Walz makes the plea that the only reason you care about this is because you hate people of color, and not because you really don't like being taxed half your paycheck and it going to strangers for no reason. It's always racism. Well, if you're pulling upon CNN going, it's a MAGA influencer. It's like, it's a 23-year-old kid that's voted once. Wouldn't you rather try to pull him over to your side than painting him with the Star of David and crucifying him? But so what's ironic is you watch Tim Walz say that twice, and then the kid being pulled on a Fox News and they have to respond like, yo, here's a governor saying you're a white supremacist. At the same time, this is where our echo chambered, like we're divided and pinned against each other. A whole faction of the country, 50%. This is how they receive the story. Thank you, CNN.
Just don't do it.
I'm simply pointing out it's Democrats.
That's not okay.
It's Democrats who have put Somali diaspora in Minneapolis at the center of their party and their state's politics. It's a small portion of the population. There is a bunch of fraud that goes on. And even Tim Walz has claimed that any investigation of this fraud is akin to white supremacy,
No,
which is
he
a
hasn't.
ridiculous
He has not
allegation.
that.
No, he hasn't.
He has said
He
that.
has not said that. First of all, Tim Walz has encouraged investigations into this, but some of the groups that were responsible for the fraud made allegations against the Biden DOJ that they were being targeted for racial reasons, and that was false then, and it's false now. So, but I don't think there's any evidence that Tim Walz was a part of that kind of allegation.
I think they
at
look
all.
the other way.
So.
It's just so bizarre that their whole mechanism is based on gaslighting. We say the lie, and then when you figure out the lie, we ostracize you as take them to the glue, like Animal Farm, send them to the glue farm.
Well, the most damning
factory.
thing is literally the video he has. It's the most damning thing. And they just, like you said, gaslighting is a perfect word. It's like that doesn't exist. It's not a real thing. That almost like it's a bit, like they staged that. And then there's no way this kid did.
Right.
Especially when you do find out, like, yeah, he's from the South, which means he probably drove all the way to Minnesota to do this.
Which again, then I really, again, I'm not trying to be the bad guy. I know that there's words that affect people differently, but also understand it affects me differently than you. It's my favorite word. That's a you problem, not a me. But I totally get why the president might double down on calling the kettle black, a spade, a Tim Walz, a retard.
In that same post, you mentioned Tim Walz, and you called him what many Americans do find an offensive word, retarded. Do you stand by that claim of calling Tim Walz retarded?
Yeah, I think there's something wrong with him. Absolutely, sure.
You don't think
You have a problem with it? You know what? I think there's something wrong with him. Anybody that would do what he did, anybody that would allow those people into his state and pay billions of dollars out to Somalia. We give billions of dollars to Somalia. It's not even a country because it doesn't function like a country. It's got a name, but it doesn't function like a country. Yeah, there's something wrong with Walz.
Mr. President, you said.
Dude, he's so unapologetically himself. He really is. It's a
beautiful biggie.
It's. I bet you his favorite movie is Black Hawk Down.
Why?
Because
happened
he's
in
hating on Somalia, dude. Come on.
Somalia. This is a real thing.
Well, I won't lie. My first thought was like, it's not a real country. He must have watched Black Hawk Down.
I was like, that was immediately where my thought was. I was like, yeah, he does not consider that a real civilized place. Like, that is not a real place. And then hearing about the fraud thing after, which he had to like go through Cash Patel, which probably was like a hoops and ladders thing, just for him to be like, oh, we've already been looking into this. Like, oh, great. Yeah, I'm sure you were.
Yeah,
Well,
we've already buried the story, boss.
Well, I just gotta say, I love that you and I had the same thought of he must watch Black Hawk Down.
It is, and it's just
Well, and the reason I bring up the president is what's cool for a 23-year-old kid that's just trying to find truth. I mean, here's what's funny. When CNN posts something like this, my immediate thought was, okay, well, where's the gay liberal journalists? Oh, because the only thing you do to provoke education, persuasion, actual change is disrupting traffic, Molotov cocktails, burning down your cities, fighting people, stabbing them, blowing their necks out. Everything about you is primitive. You don't actually have anything in you to compete with this kid. Like think of the girl who takes a gun to her Kent State graduation, Caitlin Bennett.
Oh yeah.
Now she is a force you're screwed to have to reckon with.
Yeah.
Where's that of you guys? Like Tim Walz goes, look at my gay daughter. And Kamala goes, look at these gay youth things that I've had to adopt. None of them are taking the torch because the only thing you've equipped them with is to squawk and cry like a victim to get what they want. Here's a kid that's he's a white piece of shit Nazi.
Yeah.
The only thing he can do to show value and make change in his community is to literally do the work. And that's why you only see this mechanism on the right and nowhere on the left. But bringing it full circle then to Trump, how cool is it, though, that a 23-year-old took this project on his own, did all the work, made something that now, like I said, has over 100 million views and is making a true impact, like the most impact on our political dialogue since the election. And here he is in a meeting with the president. Like, it pays off.
Yeah, my name's Nick Shirley. I'm 23 years old. I'm a 100% independent YouTube journalist. And over the past year or so, I've been able to go to 15 countries. I've hung out with people in the gangs of Brazil, in the favelas, in the prisons of Secot. But yet the most dangerous places I have been here in the United States, unfortunately. And I've had the opportunity to show people about the protest Antifa here in the United States, and there's nothing organic about what they are doing here in the United States. I've watched people be bussed in from states. I've watched the same lady at a protest in Atlanta be bused to the protest in DC and then in New York City. There's nothing that is honest about what they are doing. And they have signs. I've seen the same signs here in DC and in London as well. It's a big organization and corporation that they're running. And people may wonder, like, what's the threat to us as Americans if we go? Well, you'll be labeled as a fascist, you'll be labeled as a Nazi, and they'll wish death upon you because they wish death upon me. And just last week in Portland, Oregon, I watched a lady get trapped in her car, surrounded by Antifa, and her sister messaged me after seeing the video. She said, the only reason I think my sister was safe is because you were there recording. I also was chased out by a member of Antifa who said he would smoke me, and next thing he knew, a DHS sniper had lasers on his chest. If he was not there, who knows what would have happened that day. These people are very dangerous, and people wonder how they're able to do it. It's the reason is because these cities are not enforcing the law. And why should these people be worried if the law is not being enforced? And we are not far right, nor are we far wrong. We're just right. Yeah. And the truth about what's happening here in America with these groups is very dangerous. And I thank you, Mr. President, and your administration as well for acknowledging that.
That's a fun little ending. You know
very much. It's too bad you have to go through it.
I know, it's a little crazy, right, Mr. President?
Well, you're going to get to the bottom of it, so it's a very important thing you're doing. Thank you very much.
And again, it's issues like this why I just don't think ultimately it votes well for them in the midterms, because that's all they're gearing for. Like, that's the only reason why that mechanism is continuously working. They want to show how unjust the administration is, and for whatever faults that they are, whenever it comes back to kind of like the hard line topics where you have Somalians in Minnesota, again,
the whitest state in the country,
not just the whitest state in the country,
basically Canada,
just like their homeland, like they're outdoors, right where they're from. When you say that, it just doesn't make sense. And then when there's this giant welfare fraud on top of that, dude, they crucified Brett Favre for doing the welfare thing, which is still wrong what he did. But this is like on a whole other level, and it's our own taxpayer money going to it. If I was the administration, I would make sure that this story did not
let's be real.
For 6
let's
months.
be real. Because we've been really humbled with what this administration has panned out to be. And the reality is, just like, I get excited going, all right, did half of the cabinet I voted for quit? Shit. Yeah. But Tulsi's my girl. She's always been my number one, and she's still there. And it seems, based on my analysis, it feels like in the best case scenario, she's kind of been brought into this compromised cabinet and limits her ability to do everything, but she's like, well, damn it, I'm going to do something, and I'm going after Obama.
Yeah.
Like, that's a big fish to bite out. What's funny, though, is if nothing comes from this, like, this is all a nothing burger, then Tulsi did the same charade all of them did. It's all a show to make you feel like, hey, we're going to do something. Putin is calling for Fauci. Okay. Anything happen with Fauci yet? No. Don't forget who Trump's number one advisor was. The same criminal we're calling for extradition for. There's this reality check where it's like, at some point, this room is going to have to do the hard-hitting reality of, you're going to have to do the Dan Bongino question. And it's one of those, why aren't they? Because right now, the whole table is set.
Well, we always are. The issue is for them is what exactly the other side is. And it's everything that kid labeled out.
Here's what's
the
sad.
crux of it. It doesn't change for that
This
side.
Trojan horse that tricked us into voting for them, you're 100% right. We just sat here and was like, and it'd be worse if they would have won.
Right. That's
the sad part is, back to the South Park, pick between a douchebag and a turd sandwich. The beauty is, this is so bad that you would still probably put the barrel in your mouth again. You would probably vote Republican one more time just to ensure they don't get it. And that's how this thing keeps the wheels turning.
And that's the thing. That's why I don't know if anything is going to come of this fraud.
I don't think
terms
it
of
will.
Individuals getting literal incarcerated jail time, but they're not going to let this topic die. And that's what they're going to.
And if they do, we better take note.
So I'm looking at a AP article from an hour ago, actually 20 minutes ago, actually. It says President Trump's administration announced on Tuesday that it's freezing child care funds to Minnesota and demanding an audit of fraud schemes involving government programs.
Well, I want to piggyback off of that. Another clip
I don't know
have
more than
for
that.
us.
It's just literally it came up on my phone 10 minutes ago.
So
and it's like
I've reached out to this Nick Shirley. Obviously, I think every person in America is, so it's going to get lost in the shuffle. But if we weren't already 2 hours and started late today, one of the things I wanted to do that I had done earlier this week, I think it was Sunday night, Monday, it may have even been yesterday evening. I started doing this for Ohio. So I looked up the grants that go to childcare in Ohio. It's nowhere near, and that's where you could see where Waltz is on the hook. There is maybe, I think the most I saw was a grant of like 600 and some, but nothing beat five. Like, it was all, the most expensive was like 500,000. The vast majority, 9,000, 5,000, 10,000, 20. I'm not even looking at those. Like, you're not changing a lifestyle with $20,000, and you're not crippling the. But also, if you got 1,000 of those, now you're really just sitting on a pile of cash. So if you could do this scheme 100 times over, you've really built something. So I acknowledge all of this because through the whirlwind of excitement of this video, the thing that's come out and will be the next target. First, it was Minnesota. Why this is fun for us is the new hard-hitting journalism is happening here. Columbus is really bad. And what I was looking at was Cleveland, and Cleveland was around 500,000, 600. But Columbus, you are getting the 1.2, the couple million. Right. And I want to click over here to, his name is Muckracker. The Muckracker kind of took the baton from Nick Shirley, and he started doing something that I think you'll see here done on the Rethink Tank. I've kind of already put into motion trying to do some of this ourselves. But here's the Muckracker doing it in Columbus.
It's a daycare center owned by Somalians and stuff like that.
Have you ever seen any kids in this place here?
No, not that I know of. I just seen it, the building itself. I've never seen nobody come out the building or go in the building.
You've never seen anybody over there?
No, not at all.
So right now we are in front of the Great Minds Learning Academy. This is one of the many daycare centers, learning centers here in Columbus, Ohio, that are associated with the Somali community. As you know, Nick Shirley put out a bombshell report about all these fraudulent daycare facilities in Minneapolis, Minnesota. So we wanted to come out to Columbus, Ohio, and investigate what might be going on in the second largest Somali community in the United States of America. So this place here,
they're eating the dogs and they're eating
is
the
the first
cats.
place we're gonna knock, and we're gonna see if anybody picks up or answers the door. Let's see.
The lights are on. Someone's got to be in there, right?
Heck no.
That was good.
So
They're just not
locked. We're ringing the doorbell here. Knocking on the door.
Yeah, you know.
Nobody's picking up, so we're not sure what the hell's going on here, but we're gonna get
I
out of
got
here.
some ideas.
Somebody over there.
Gold-rated.
How you doing, sir? I'm sure you see the reports over the weekend about all the daycare centers in Minnesota. We just wanted to see what was going on. Did you know anything about this place here?
It's a
They do,
daycare
like,
center.
nah, I'm freezing,
by,
man.
Somalians and stuff like that.
Do you ever see any kids there?
Not because they use the back door, so I want to know if they is.
They use the back door.
Yeah, I never seen nobody come in here, but they use the back door.
But have you ever seen any kid? You live around here?
Yeah, on this building right here.
Oh, you're in this building.
Yeah.
You're in this building too. Hey, let me ask you: Have you ever seen any kids in this place here?
No, not that I know of. They use the back, so I've never seen nobody
You know who else uses the back door? Stranger Things.
come out the front.
You've never seen anybody over there.
No, not at all.
I just seen it, the building itself. I've never seen nobody come out the building or go in the building.
So we came to the back, just like those guys suggested, and there's nothing here. You know, we can keep poking around, but there's so many of these centers to go to. We're just getting started. So we're gonna go around the city. We're gonna go to a few more of these places. We're gonna see if we can get anybody to talk to us.
You're not gonna, my guy. This is funny. This is funny because you know who has the second most big Somalian population? Ohio. And it's like, us?
That is so
Just like home.
shocking.
Yeah, well, just like Minnesota.
Yeah.
It's like,
And again, I agree with you. This topic, if it dies down, it would be interesting to note of. The issue is that it is being brought to light, and you're going to see a lot of people go, "What?" And you're going to have a lot of people that didn't care about the ICE raid conversation, whether they were in favor or not in favor, go to probably the more in favor side. And that's why I don't think it's going to help. I think 2026 is going to be a lot of.
I do too.
I
I think that's where the good's going to come. I think we had a bad year. Good year's going to.
Well, I think it's a tumultuous first year. I think it's hard to get some things off the ground. I think obviously the immediate things that we voted for that we didn't get are the things that we're talking about most this year. Not that those topics get bored or go away. There's still obviously your independent individuals are going to talk about them all the time. But when it comes to like the mainstream thing that catches the news, this is a great like tipping point to lead into the year because it's, yeah, look where it started. And it couldn't have been more perfect for one side of the argument to look and be like, that guy was almost vice president and look what's going on there. Again, coincidences.
Yeah.
They've all added up, piled on. They were so thankful all year after the Vance Boelter thing that the unfortunate thing with Charlie Kirk happened, and then the files regarding the island of unnamed origin, and then obviously still funding the wars that we don't want to be a part of. All those things still happening, things we voted for that we wanted didn't happen. Then it comes back to the issue that really got everyday people that don't hyper focus on issues like that to get in the voting box. And it's this. It's 100% going to be this. And if I was this administration, I would start doing more crackdowns on it. I don't know if they will. I don't think they're smart enough to, but if they do, if this is still a topic in June, it's not going well for the other side. It really isn't going well for the other side.
Speaking of crackdowns, though, I'm going to cut it off because it is a long clip, but I have a clip here from the Patrick Bet-David podcast. Tim Walz tries to present this whole position that, like, listen, even the bonehead conversation with JD Vance, it's one of those, hey, you know, I may have made a mistake, but let me be clear. This was literally his roundabout way of acknowledging, yeah, I lied, but, you know, I'm a bonehead. He goes, let me be clear. I've had a great political career where I focus on my community, and my community has appreciated me. And when my community continues to vote for me and see the fruits of what I do for them, the proof is in the pudding. And yeah, I may be a bonehead and flub up when I say the wrong thing, but the proof is in the pudding. And my community loves me and they stand behind my momentum and efforts. Here's what's funny. This is Minnesota screaming as loud as they can that is not the case.
First story I want to get into is the story of what's going on in Minnesota. By the way, imagine if you were to say a reporter writes a negative hit piece on you. Your name is Tim Walz. All right, whatever. Imagine a podcaster does a full-on investigation on you. Boom. Here's what Tim Walz's background's all about. All right, whatever. Imagine if Fox News does something on you. Yeah, that's bad, right? But what's worse than Minnesota's Department of Human Services? This is a tweet that none of us saw that happened on September 11 of last year when Minnesota's Department of Human Services employees sent a message to Kamala Harris, okay? September 11, Rob, can we show the date so they can see it on the bottom, please? Zoom in a little bit. There you go. September 11, 2024. They send it to her. It only gets 45,000 views. Let's read it together, Rob. Miss Harris, please listen to Minnesota state employees who work every day to deliver best services possible to our state and people who expect no less and pay our wages. Tim Walz has caused incredible harm to our state and agencies, retaliated against whistleblowers, against fraud. Zoom in a little bit. So what are all these things called? Feeding our future, $250 million.
Wait. So
Child
this
24.
is their department.
Minnesota's Department of Human Services employee.
Department of Human Services is like, Kamala, help. Don't appoint him. He's hated by the state. But Tim Walz says, shut up, listen, trust me. They keep appointing me. They love me. Yeah. What's interesting is the final word of, at least media content, the final word of presenting an argument in our space for us to decipher and debate. I want to go to a man on the ground, a regular person in Minnesota, a regular Minnesota resident. Nathaniel Olson has been kind of promulgated throughout his career as a disability advocate, and he's got words specifically for Tim Walz. Let's take a listen.
One thing that I'm freaking worried about is this freaking fraud that is happening over our state, where there's 600,000 disability people in the state of Minnesota that could suffer. And sadly, it's quite interesting that we have Governor Walz speaking in front of the state and saying that this fraud is nothing beside. But my people are done suffering. We're done with this fraud. Our governor is not doing anything to help us, but sit here and decide he wants to blame Donald J., the President of the United States, who has nothing to do with this. There is a time to hold our governor accountable, and I'm not seeing it.
Perfectly said.
Yeah, and again, we have issues with how the first year has gone. We've talked about it plenty of times on here, but at the end of the day, you just have your average everyday Americans, and that's like the true frustration that comes out.
And again, what's the crux of his main point? Yeah. You're hurting the people that you're claiming, give me all these resources and advocate for my programs because I'm helping victims. I'm helping desperate people. And those desperate people are going, you're literally only stealing from us.
Yeah.
We're the only ones that would be the beneficiary of these programs and resources, and they're going to Somalia.
Like, you look at your biggest Democrats, right, that could be potential for the next election, right? You have Newsom, you have Walz, you have AOC, and it's like, yes, they keep getting put back in because that's how the mechanism works. But then when you get down to the nitty gritty and talking to people in the area, it's like they hate them. Listen,
it's true.
We're Ohioans. We're not the biggest DeWine fans, but he's not the worst. And I have my issues, but he really isn't the worst.
He hasn't been the worst. Yeah.
No, like he's not.
I personally would never vote for him again, and I'm an advocate against him. But that doesn't mean I would vote for Tim Walz before him.
And that's what I mean. It's like, yes, do we have our issues with him? Absolutely. The whole COVID thing. I mean, I haven't forgotten that, and I'm definitely considering that going forward. But when it comes to like real-time things now where it's like this is actively affecting your
I
everyday.
do want to plant a seed of something that hasn't been advertised to us in news articles and everything else. One thing that's sitting in the wing for us to cover, I want to make sure we get our live views up so I can just tank them with this topic as algorithms do. But a story that isn't covered in Ohio is how we've sold ownership of the state to God's chosen people.
Right.
They own it. Literally. That's a story for another day. This is the first time where a foreign asset is being set up to own a United State. And it's ours.
Yeah.
So again, that should only highlight where if I'm going to vote for this guy over Tim Walz, that's how bad Tim Walz is.
And again, it comes back to, it's like, why for myself hearing that, what I still consider the wine over Walz is I'm listening to that individual speak, and it's, yeah, that's like everyday stuff that's really bothering them. Knowing that some other country of origin may own us, it's at the end of the day for me, it's, hey, my kids could still go to school, get the education, they're safe, whatever. They're not stealing, siphoning money from us actively to where it's going to like DeWine's not getting all of this money. When you look at like these other states, it's actively now being shown across the country. I mean, this story is really a bad one to end the year for them, considering how good it felt for them leading up to after the first year.
Dude, before this story broke, I was really walking in tandem with them.
Yes.
With the Epstein story and everything else, it's like, yeah, I hate this guy too. I agree. Doesn't make you better, but definitely agree. I hate this guy.
But then this happens and you're
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, that's exactly why.
Oh yeah, now I remember. You're the worst.
That's why I did exactly what I did a year ago. And at the
And I
moment,
do it
that's
again.
why it's not going to change once it comes this upcoming November. Because it's like, oh yeah, this is the real on the ground, everyday stuff that does affect us.
Right. So Ricky, I gotta ask you, we're gonna start closing the topic out. So I'm gonna bring you in here. What are your whole thoughts on this whole mechanism and kind of wrapping thoughts on the whole topic?
Yeah,
the connection to the guy that assassinated the senator is crazy. One of their senators ran at her job, and she was born in Minnesota. Is wild. The thing crazy about this is, Doug. The thing crazy about this is like it's the holidays, and parents still have to work. Their kids out of school, and daycare is so expensive.
Right.
So like this is like hitting a lot of hardworking everyday parents
Daycare
to
is
the core.
extremely expensive, man.
To the core, like.
Well,
and-
again, it's the whole idea of just, again, we're very in the political arena. We keep a track and an eye on everything. We have insight and just opinions on a lot of things. For these parents with their kids in like daycare, they're not thinking about this all the time. They're not thinking about the files all the time and stuff like that. They're thinking about how they're putting their kids into daycare and making sure they're getting an education and looked after of,
Yeah, and
that's
for
really where it comes
grants.
down to affect them and what ultimately really gets people in voting booths.
Yeah, and grants that's supposed to help alleviate some of that burden on some families is just being wasted for rent at place that looks like undercover strip club and like our
seriously.
spots.
That was funny. I love straight bombs. The place looks like a club. It's like, yeah, it does. It really does.
Like they look like great after hour spots. Like
Exactly.
You know?
And then to think like it's 90 kids, like 90 kids, like that's a small school.
Okay, that's why it's funny. You see the scope of Minnesota's, and again, it's not going away because I had so much fun digging into this, and I'm gonna make it fun for you too. When you, dude, I'm talking thousands of these, right? And you just scroll past the 9,000, the 20,000. I'm literally just 100,000 will catch my attention. Looking for the 500,000. You get it. Boom. Stop. How many occupants? All right. You're taking care of like 9 kids, right? Ohio's scheme is much smaller, much lower, but it's because Tim Walz blew the cap off this, right? Like instead of giving them 500,000, he blew because it's a money laundering scheme. Let's get this little nook and cranny $5 million for 90 kids. And this kid, Nick Shirley's like, You said 90. Getting back to what I was getting at. The beautiful thing is finding, all right, 9 kids, $560,000. Copy and paste address, Google Map, paste, Street View. Tell me this fucking building has a penny.
Right.
Like, no. It's a joke to you. It carries no weight. Coming attraction, when I share the screen and we go through the whole thing, the punchline is the residence itself. You're telling me this thing with boarded up plywood windows and no stoop and the framing of the windows broken off, no gutters. They just received over $500,000 this year.
Leaning Center.
And that's not to take away from why they should get $500 and some $1,000 to feed a kid. Like you go to, dude, I had it all broken down. You could go to then the county website or the department of whatever, they changed the name in Ohio, but the department that manages these, you go to it, you see, okay, what does this location provide? All right. Some of them for $560,000 are providing transportation, food, 3 meals, like this clothing. It's like, okay, that shit's going to get expensive. You're convincing me. Oh, then I go to this resident, the actual commercial location has a minibus in the front. I buy it. I believe it. Then you go to the middle of the hood, Cleveland, and it's just a dilapidated building. No humans in there, not even the cockroach. And I'm supposed to believe you got 7 kids there daily getting meals? The actual locations speak for themselves. So back to Nick Shirley's power, there is so much power in just, like, again, Matt Walsh. You want to show professors are retarded for trying to convolute and mental gymnastics their way to multiple genders? Just tell me what a woman is.
Yeah.
And watch a Douglas Murray expert squirm. And they're like, just trust me, bro. Just trust me, bro. No. And let them do all the work for you. Here's the address. Does this address look like I got $500,000 this year? No.
Yeah.
So, Ricky, I liked your rapid thoughts. Will, that was a perfect cherry on top. Doug, any rapid thoughts for us?
I can't wait to see what comes of this, especially because I just saw an article came out like 20, 30 minutes ago now, literally saying that they're pausing stuff until an investigation is done. So this is going to go somewhere.
That's right.
It's going to go somewhere.
The nice thing is you're finally seeing action. And this is where the scandal stops being about Tim Walz and starts being about us. Because the most consistent character in every modern political meltdown isn't the politician who got caught. It's the American taxpayer who gets invoiced afterwards. No matter how wild the allegation, no matter how reckless the behavior, no matter how avoidable the disaster, the ending is always the same. Lawyers get paid, consultants get richer, damage control gets funded, and the public gets told to shut up and move on. The scandal isn't shocking because it's unprecedented. It's shocking because it's familiar. We're watching the same pattern play out again. Power insulated from consequence, accountability diluted by procedure, and outrage carefully managed until the news cycles burns itself out. And when it's all over, nothing structurally changes. No real reform, no personal cost proportional to the damage, just another line item buried in a budget you didn't vote on. The real insult isn't even the scandal itself. It's the quiet assumption that the public will tolerate it, that Americans are too distracted, too divided, or too exhausted to demand better, that the bill can be passed down indefinitely without ever being questioned. At some point, this stops being left versus right and becomes a citizen versus system issue. Because when the people writing the rules never have to live under them, and the people breaking trust never have to personally pay for it, The system isn't broken. It's working exactly how it's designed. Tim Walz may be the headline today. Tomorrow, it'll be someone else. But until consequences are personal and accountability is real, scandals like this aren't warnings. They're just receipts. So let's try to demand the accountability we're looking for.
I like that whole citizen versus citizen thing.
It's true.
Citizen.
Well, and it's because that's what the system's invested in.
Right.
I'd rather you hate your neighbor than realize the real enemy holding you back is me.
Real quick, Alex, that whole citizen versus whatever thing is literally the plot of Starship Trooper.
Why?
Well, because in that society, we're a united planet, and there's a difference between a citizen and a person. A citizen serves the country, the
Very quickly,
planet,
Doug became a
and
sovereign
gets the
citizen.
state. I'm just saying, like that. There's a difference in that. And the movie, I love movies. Sue me.
Netflix will. All right. So I'm going to close out 2025 here for us. We've had one heck of a year, and we're going to do a little rewind, kind of just closing out the year, and then we'll close out our episode. All right. Before we get out of here tonight, we've got to do something important. Let's take a moment and review 2025, because if we don't stop and look back, history is going to pretend this year was complicated or nuanced, when in reality, it was feral. January feels like a millennia ago. Back then, there was still hope, even when the year opened with weekly plane crashes. Even every 7 days, it was breaking news, another aircraft incident. We were checking flight numbers like they were lotto tickets. And somehow, by the end of the year, we were sending Gayle King into space with Katy Perry up there singing Above Earth, while the rest of us are like, cool, can we afford eggs again? This was the year Trump returned. And within minutes, everyone realized the policies didn't quite match the campaign slogans. Supporters were confused. Critics were exhausted. And Washington went right back to doing what it does best: nothing loudly. Meanwhile, the Middle East escalated further at the request of the Middle East, because of course it did. Tariffs and trade wars came roaring back, and suddenly everyone became an economist on Twitter, using terms like supply chain while ordering everything from Temu. The Ukraine war somehow got stranger, not quieter. New alliances, weirder tactics, and parental scoldings in the Oval Office that left you asking, wait, is this real? While their head of state sits there in his little sweater, excited about his ski trips that the American taxpayer has been able to provide him. And in the middle of all the global instability, One Piece, the anime, became the literal symbol of rebellion around the world. Nothing scares the establishment quite like a cartoon anime pirate in a straw hat. We had more earthquakes and wildfires than anyone could keep track of, and every natural disaster came with a think piece explaining how this was somehow your fault for owning a truck. Then science said, hold my beer, when Bill Gates flips the script on climate change and says, we need to abandon those efforts to usher in the miles of AI servers across American farmland. Don't forget, colossal biosciences shook up the understanding of biology with an artificial womb for marsupials. Then, by March, woolly mammoth-like mice. And then, by April, dire wolves. Next year, Mewtwo. We are just a few press releases away from Jurassic Park, and everyone just shrugged it off and said, yeah, that tracks for this year. America also crossed the line it can't uncross. Political assassinations that permanently change the way politics works. Not a scandal, not a tweet. Something darker, something sobering, a reminder that this isn't just a game anymore. And then, because the universe has a sense of humor, even more importantly, Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce got engaged, uniting pop music, the NFL, and every marketing department on earth. At the same time, Diddy got indicted by the FIB, or the FBI, and suddenly half the music industry developed amnesia. The internet lost its mind over the Coldplay CEO kiss cam affair because nothing brings people together like a jumbotron and bad decisions. We watched rapper Dank DeMoss get discriminated against for not fitting into a regular-sized car, which somehow became a national conversation about capitalism and not individual health. Hollywood wasn't done either. Wicked gave us Skeleton, Glinda, and Alphaba, which felt less creative, felt like less of a creative vision and more like a metaphor for the industry itself. Stranger Things finally comes to a close with a gay finale in a classic LGBTQ fashion where 16-year-olds are being played by 25-year-olds. Meanwhile, K-pop officially took over youth culture. And if you're 30, you just accepted the fact that you're no longer the target demographic. And so you just gave in and started watching One Piece. The kids themselves absolutely plagued by 6767, a phrase none of us understand, but they repeat like a sacred chant. Gen Z fully embraced brain rot as a lifestyle, not irony, not parody, pure chaos with confidence. American streets filled with marches alongside ICE, something unthinkable 5 years ago. Now just another headline you scroll past. Oh, and yes, we got a new pope from America, born in Chicago, a big fan of the Bears. If that doesn't tell you the world order has shifted, nothing will. And hovering over all of us, AI and ChatGPT taking over everything in a single year. Jobs rewritten, schools panicking, creativity questioned, everyone asking, is this helpful or the beginning of the end? But don't forget the biggest craze of the year. Labubu absolutely smoked Beanie Babies. Not even close. You bought a blind box hoping for a rare Labubu secret, but all you got was addicted to unboxing. And finally, because balance matters, Sydney Sweeney wore jeans so well, they became a cultural event. No politics, no commentary, just America agreeing on something for once. Sydney Sweeney, in fact, does have great jeans.
Amen.
So that was 2025, a year that felt endless, a year that made no sense, a year where every month felt like a season finale. We laughed, we argued, we doom scrolled. We watched history happen in real time and pretended it was normal. It wasn't, but we made it through. And if 2026 thinks it can top this, buddy, we're tired, but we're watching. And with that, I'm wishing you all a wonderful new year. So let's close out today's episode. I want to acknowledge I was kidding. If I had Ricky earlier this episode, I'd be pulling him in. I am blessed for every moment Ricky graces us. So even though we got you, I appreciate you. Ricky, tell the folks where they can find you.
Hey, just another day TV, folks. We here, man. We here. No saying this week, Will, but I froze. Damn, why I freeze like that? Damn.
I know.
I'm glitching.
It froze you in such an unpleasant.
I got the spasm. I got the spasm.
in your
But
mama's
yeah.
underwear.
I am not a crook.
The vocal is here, man. We are outside, bro.
I love it. I love it.
Outside, baby.
For everybody, we appreciate you joining us. We're here each week, every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Sometimes I need a little time to get some media, and it might be 7:30. But we're here every
we're gonna be
Tuesday.
live, damn it.
That's right. We're going to do it live. We're going to do it live. We appreciate everybody that joined us in the comments from, who was Straight Bombs to Brad Richardson and everybody else. The whole purpose of the live show is to get you involved. So we appreciate everybody that adds an extra dynamic to the show because we want to hear from you and add your perspective. So thank you. We have our Sunday show. We've got the Sunday football review, and we're going to be kicking off in the playoffs here soon. And before that, each Sunday, we have our reactions channel. This last week with the Grinch was absolutely hilarious, and we've got a lot of fun things in store. So be sure to join the reactions channel for our first kickoff of the new year. That'll be this Sunday. But if you're looking for one central place where you can find all our content, the podcast, this live show, and everything else, you can find it at our website at www.rethinktankpodcast.com. Also there, we want you to join the Neuro Gym. It's free, and that gets you to correspond and be a part of the Rethink Tank directly. We've got that. It's literally just a feed where we can communicate and post. So be sure to join us there. But otherwise, guys, we appreciate you giving us your time. If we made you laugh, if we made you think, the best thing you could do to support what we're doing is like and hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss it when we're here again. But otherwise, be sure to share that link so, if you liked it, someone else will too. But we'll catch you next week. We'll catch you next year, you goon. Leaving 2025 behind us. Peace.